Hello, everyone. We're probably going to have kind of a short stream tonight because I have somewhere to be very early tomorrow morning. I really got to stop scheduling things for like before 11, but that
It's
is what
no
it is.
secret that
Hang
2020.
on. Did we switch it back? Yeah, okay, okay. Here we are. Okay, so here we are with some Nintendo copes from the community. We're going to see what these dipshits are coming out with when it comes to these Nintendo copes. Let's get
Look,
started.
it's no secret that 2026 is a very important year for Nintendo. Not only is
No,
it the
it's not. No, it's not. So, like, okay, so the narrative right now is that 2026 is a make it or break it year for Nintendo and that they're going to blow it and there are no games coming out. And the simple reality is it's not true. Okay, 2025 was that year. They made it and now we're kind of going through these motions where people are going to pretend that the Switch 2 isn't selling well until it becomes undeniable and then they'll say it's in decline. You know, they've done this like every single console generation ever. Okay, and it does need to be understood that this is how the Switch 2 is going to go, no matter how well it does. Like until Nintendo's competition just no longer exists, you're going to keep seeing these copes, and it's just
first
embarrassing.
full year of the new Nintendo Switch 2. Not only is Mario getting his second big animated movie releasing later this year, but also Nintendo's coming off of a little bit of a rocky past. The
Wrong,
Switch 2
wrong.
launched to incredible sales numbers. However, the
So yeah. So the stock price, it's already going back up in general. It dipped a bit after the Tamagotchi Direct, but it's still higher than it was. And yeah, the Switch 2 holiday sales were. This story has been debunked. I've talked about this time and time again. This is a giant cope.
holidays were not as good as Nintendo was hoping, and there seems to just be a general air of concern and, I guess, distrust within the fan base. So
Wrong, wrong, wrong. So the people who are concern trolling right now are grifters, right? None of the people who are like complaining about Nintendo have any real credibility in the sphere at all. You know, if they did, I would have a lot more respect for them and I would have advocated for them as like true, genuine fans over the past couple of years. What you're seeing is just people grifting off of Nintendo hype. Okay. They are trying to tell you that Nintendo is failing, that they can't compete, that they can't win, that all their franchises are shit. And this is what they've been doing forever, but now it's becoming more transparent. Now we're seeing numbers in real time get released, and within a couple of weeks, usually, like they completely fall apart. You know, like just recently we had that whole situation with Dispatch, where like people were screaming about censorship and how Nintendo did this or that. It was a giant cope from the company. So like again, it was a straight up lie to try and make Nintendo look bad. So
today, I wanted to take a look at the entire year ahead and go through the best and what also might unfortunately be the worst Switch 2 games coming in 2026. Not only are we going to be going over the games that obviously are announced to be coming in 2026, but also games that aren't necessarily announced but I think are all but guaranteed. I'll explain those when we get to them though, because obviously Nintendo has not shown off everything they're going to put out this year. However, what they have shown off is, well, it's a mix. Some of it looks really good and some of it, well, you'll see. Let's just jump into it. These are the best and worst Switch 2 games coming in 2026, or at least my predictions of them. We have to start off with Splatoon Raiders. This game
uh
is really weird, but it's gonna sell incredibly well. The reason I say it's weird is because, well, it got announced in just a random Nintendo Today trailer upload, and we haven't seen anything of it since. All we know is that it is the first Splatoon spin-off, and a lot of people, including myself, think this will be a main big campaign that maybe you can play in co-op, but doesn't really focus on that multiplayer versus action that Splatoon is known for.
I need to play
What's
some more
really
Splatoon.
interesting about Splatoon Raiders is what we can already discern from it from Splatoon 3. Yeah, that's right. If you haven't been following Splatoon recently, Splatoon 3, well, it was kind of over. They said they were done with that game. We had like a big final Splatfest, but now they're coming back and updating it again, very frequently actually. Not only did we get a big version 10.0, but version 11.0 just dropped and added in some interesting new features. There's something called Flow Aura, which basically just means when you're you're like on a heater and killing a bunch of people, you spawn more ink, and some of your stats get buffed. But I think what's more important for Splatoon Raiders is the fact that they've implemented a health bar into Splatoon. Splatoon has never had this. I've been playing since the original on the Wii U. There was never a health bar. However, now there is, and in my opinion, this is almost guaranteed something that has been lifted from Raiders, like they developed it for Splatoon Raiders, and then they just brought it into Splatoon 3 because they probably run on the same engine. If anything, this health bar new addition does kind of make me believe that this really is going to be some sort of single-player campaign or maybe a co-op campaign. I'm leaning against the idea of it being a roguelike because we did just get a sort of roguelite mode with Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC, but in my opinion, the thing is, it doesn't really matter exactly what the Splatoon team tries to do with Raiders. They have shown consistently that they know how to make fun and engaging single-player campaigns. Given that that's what this looks like it'll be, I'm not too concerned on the details. Splatoon Raiders will sell incredibly well given that it's the first official mainline Splatoon game for the Switch 2, and I'm confidently saying this will be one of the best Nintendo games of the year because, again, Splatoon really hasn't missed when it comes to single-player campaigns. In fact, you could argue that they've only gotten better as the series has progressed. So I'm extremely excited to see what the Splatoon team cooks up with
My girl
Raiders.
Shiver.
I really do love it when the developers try something new. This is obviously
I'm so hyped.
not a mainline game.
So this is a really good example of what I mean when I say that people are coping when they say that that Switch 2 has no games, because you have this, you have Pokepia, you have Tamagotchi, and we have the upcoming Nintendo Direct. We had plenty of games launching this year. What exactly are you complaining about? It doesn't make any sense.
I think will give them more creativity and options for trying to just make this game a really interesting campaign. We don't know when Splatoon Raiders is going to release, but everyone knows it'll come out this year, and I'm excited for it nonetheless.
Yes.
The next game I'm excited to talk about is not actually a brand new game, but it's a new DLC or addition to the game, that being the Meet Up in Bellabelle Park expansion for Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, here's the thing. Nintendo has done quite a few of these Switch 2 editions now, and in my opinion, they've been all pretty underwhelming. Stuff like Metroid Prime.
Wrong. So I don't understand this giant cope that people have. Oh no, the Switch 2 editions. They're $20 more. What are you expecting? What are you expecting exactly? A completely different game. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't want to hear bitching about the Nintendo Directs. To me, about these Switch 2 editions, to me, it's just a cope.
4 or Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom Switch 2 editions were fine because it was mainly just graphical upgrades. But whenever they've done the whole plus side campaign, like plus Jamboree TV or plus Kirby and the Star-Crossed Worlds, in my opinion, it just hasn't really been enough content to justify that new increased price tag. Meet Up in Bellabelle Park looks to buck this trend, and I think they will, because they're not just giving you one extra campaign here. In fact, they're focusing on multiplayer. There is a lot of additional single-player content here. You can go through and fight the Koopalings, which is fixing one of the biggest problems with Mario Wonder, the lackluster bosses, and there seems to be a brand new challenge mode, kind of like the challenges in New Super Mario Bros. U, which I personally love. Those were super fun, especially in single player, trying to.
They have a challenge mode? Oh, that's sick.
However, obviously, the main part of the Bellabelle.
This looks awesome. I haven't actually seen a lot of footage from Bellabelle Park, but that looks sick. That looks really good.
Park expansion pack is Bellabelle Park, and most of that seems to be multiplayer, either local multiplayer or online multiplayer. In my opinion, this is exactly what I want from this sort of DLC expansion. Some people probably want one big massive level or big new single player campaign like a Bowser's Fury type thing. And I can't lie, Bowser's Fury was awesome. But what I love from these sort of expansions is when the developer takes the game and then kind of recontextualizes it, giving us as the players an experience that is completely different and not something we could get from the main game. I think Bellabelle Park is the perfect example of this because Mario Wonder, you can play it in multiplayer and it's fun, it's fine, it's like a normal 2D Mario game in multiplayer, but you can't pick people up and throw them, so it's not, as chaotic as the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but still. However, getting something that really focuses on the multiplayer just adds a whole new dimension to the gameplay here. I mentioned Bowser's Fury earlier, and this honestly kind of fits into that perspective. Bowser's Fury is obviously single player. I guess the second player can play Bowser Jr., but no one's doing that. Super Mario 3D World, in my opinion, is a game that is, really made for multiplayer. It's by far at its best when you're playing in local multiplayer. So that's the sort of thing where they add a single player campaign to a multiplayer game. We're just kind of getting the inverse here. Another example that I loved was the Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC where you got the Emerald Rush expansion. This didn't...
Oh, wow, this guy is based, yeah. I was sitting here thinking that like most people were kind of sleeping on Emerald Rush, but nah, there's a lot of people who are like really enthusiastic about it. I loved Emerald Rush personally, so it was really frustrating to me to see a bunch of YouTubers come out and call it shit immediately. I put another 20 hours into the game because of this DLC. And yet they came out and tried to say it wasn't worth the value. Again, this is a really good example of like what I mean when like the problem when it comes to Nintendo YouTubers right now is that a lot of these people are talking about games they haven't played. Okay, at their core, like they're rushing out the content to give some hot take opinions, and they don't know what they're talking about. Like they just don't know what they're talking about. So, with that being said, like why? With that being said, like why exactly would we ever take these people seriously?
Suddenly turn Bonanza into some local multiplayer titan, but what it did is completely recontextualize the base game, turning these massive levels or layers, the super fun movement and destruction mechanics, and the ability to unlock different skills for Donkey Kong, which you could do throughout the campaign. It takes all of those things and kind of mashes them together into some roguelike score chasing mode. The Emerald Rush mode might not be for everybody, but it is for me because it's something different. It just allows me to play the game I love in a completely new way, and I can appreciate it in a new way because of that. I really think that's what Bellabelle Park is shooting to do with the Mario Wonder Switch 2 edition, and because of that, again, I think this will be one of the best games. I'm super excited for it. If they handle this right, Mario Wonder could then get propped up against like Mario Kart, Smash Bros, and Mario Party as the local multiplayer games I play with my friends when they come over. Okay, next I have to talk about a game that I am not actually that excited for. I hate to say this might be one of the worst games, but you gotta hear me out. I'm talking about Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. I'm really hoping that this game is an absolute blast. I want it to completely
Mr. E. Oh no, I just got done watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Mr. E? Are you kidding me?
As of now, I just don't have high hopes for this title. That's mainly because the last Yoshi game, being Yoshi's Crafted World, in my opinion, was just not that fun. It's an okay middle.
Okay. Like, what is with people? Like, okay, I have issues with Crafted World. Like, it's not a great game, and it's very disappointing that it feels unfinished. But like, it's certainly not bad either. And I really, really dislike people like saying it's like on par with something like Yoshi's Island DS or Yoshi's Island New Island or like Touch and Go. Like, it's on the upper end of Yoshi game, honestly. I'd say it's better than Yoshi's Story, even. Like,
2D platformer that was really bogged down by two main problems. First, it was way too easy, and secondly, the game itself was paced pretty poorly, where you really had to go back and replay levels over and over and over again, but when you took those new objectives into the same levels, the new objectives really didn't shake up the level at like enough at all, so it just felt super repetitive, and the game itself wasn't fun enough to be that repetitive. Like, it couldn't get away with being that boring. That's just my opinion on Yoshi's Crafted World. I'm sure there will be people in the comments saying that they enjoyed that game, and that's completely fair, but especially when you compare it against something like Yoshi's Island, the original on the SNES, or even Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U. In my opinion, Crafted World does not hold a candle to either of those titles. And
I do agree with that. Woolly World was better, but like, it's definitely not bad.
Main two issues I just outlined with Crafted World seem to be rearing their ugly heads again with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Obviously, we don't know enough about this game, it's hard for me to fully judge it. However, that one trailer we got did seem to kind of suggest that the main point of this game is going to be going into different levels over and over again to find different enemies to write them down in the book. On top of that, I understand they probably only showed off very early levels from that trailer, but nothing looked hard. In fact, I don't even really know how you would die in any of these levels. Again, I hope this game is a lot better than I fear it might be. But I gotta keep it honest with you guys, I have seen absolutely nothing of Yoshi and the Mysterious Book that gets me excited for it. So as of right now, I'm saying it might
even like the environmental stuff, like even like this, like the in-depth like bio guide, like there's some interesting things here. Like it's definitely a unique game. I'm definitely glad they're giving it some more aspects to it. It's not just a buy the numbers platformer.
One of the worst games coming out. I obviously, again, I really don't hope that's the case, but it just doesn't look that good so far. Next up, let's talk about Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. This is a game that I was kind of like, oh, that's cute. But then we got that direct for it, and now I'm actually pretty excited. Here's the thing, a lot of people have been talking about the Animal Crossing New Horizons-ification of Tomodachi Life. And that's mainly been spawned in by the fact that you can now completely transform the island you're on. Oh, that sounds familiar. You can just straight up terraform it to make it into really whatever you want. The issue is, with New Horizons, since the island customization was like the main thing in that game, game, a lot of other aspects of Animal Crossing, like the relationships you build with different villagers, kind of fell by the wayside. In the older Animal Crossing games, the villagers felt like your friends. In New Horizons, they feel like an extension of decorations for your island. They really don't do much. Luckily, Tomodachi Life seems to be leaning entirely in the other direction. Obviously, there is still that island customization stuff that we saw, but the core conceit of Tomodachi Life is creating wacky scenarios for your different Miis, and just watching how they interact when you put two of them together and try and make them fall in love. Obviously, that's not the only thing you can do in this game, but who are we kidding? We all know we're gonna take the two goofiest
Yeah,
Miis
Tomodachi Life does look really, really good.
we have
Like,
on
people
our
are gonna
Switches and just
are
make
really
them
sleeping
fall
on
in
this
love
one right
together,
now.
and that's kind of the main point of this game. However, the fact that Tomodachi Life is able to lean into that more relationship aspect while also including the customization that New Horizons did so well has me really excited for it. Fans of the original on the 3DS I've been seeing are upset about stuff like a lack of a concert hall. However, we don't entirely know that that's not in the game, and even if there are a couple of unfortunate features that don't return from the original, there seems to be enough here to make this game definitely worthy
I'm so
of its
excited
only
for this.
$60 price tag, which
I'm so
obviously
excited for
that should be
Nintendo
most
to eat
games,
his words.
it is what it is now. We're in 2026. If this game was $70, there's no chance I'd ever get it. But it's only $60, and I'm honestly looking forward to picking it up. I think this will be one of the best Switch 2 games, or Switch 1 games, because it's also Switch 1, coming out in 2026. Next, let's talk about a game that has not been confirmed, but I very much think it's likely. That is Luigi's Mansion 4. Luigi's Mansion...
Yeah, this guy's on the money. Yeah, I'm saying the same thing as he's saying. Yeah, this guy's based. This is like probably the best channel I've reacted to so far. Yeah, definitely subbing after this. Yeah, that is a good call. That is a good call.
3 came out in October of 2019, and that game really took the Luigi's Mansion franchise to new heights. Originally, those games did not sell that well, but that all changed with Mansion 3. Now Luigi's Mansion is one of Nintendo's top-selling franchises.
The games did not sell that well. What is he talking about? Dark Moon sold like 6 million units. How is that not good? Whatever.
That all changed with Mansion 3. Now Luigi's Mansion is one of Nintendo's top-selling franchises. And especially with the Mario movie having a renewed focus on Luigi because he's actually like part of the movie and not just going to be captured by Bowser the whole time, I would not be surprised at all if Nintendo wanted to get a Luigi game on store shelves to coincide with the movie. In fact, they did that originally with the first movie, re-releasing Luigi's Mansion 2 HD the same year as the original Mario movie from Illuminations came out. Yes, this is a game that is not yet announced, but I would really be shocked if we didn't see a Luigi's Mansion 4. Not only are we not necessarily sure what Next Level Games has been working on, but it's been now 7 years since Luigi's Mansion 3. Nintendo clearly respects this franchise and knows it's a high seller for them. And if we're not gonna get 3D Mario this year, who knows, we might not. But Luigi's Mansion seems like a definite no-brainer to fill that holiday void, especially if 3D Mario isn't here. But even if 3D Mario is here, I still think Luigi's Mansion could sell quite well. It doesn't really cannibalize the sales, like they're kind of independent of each other. I firmly believe Luigi's Mansion 3 will get announced this year, and I do think it'll be one of the best games on the Switch 2 in 2026. In fact, not only am I just excited for this game in general, but more so, I'm excited for how it'll look, because Luigi's Mansion 3 on the original Switch is still probably the best looking Switch game that ever got released. Next Level Games, the developers, just did such an incredible job on like the character rigging and animation. It literally looks like a Pixar movie at times.
It does,
and now with the power of the Switch 2, I think Luigi's Mansion...
Oh yeah, by the way, Next Level Games has former Pixar animators on staff, so do not be surprised if eventually we start getting games that look better than Pixar movies today, because
4 will look unbelievable. I'm super excited to see it. Next up, we have Mario Tennis Fever, and it's kind of crazy I'm saying this, but yes, I'm putting a Mario sports game in a potential best scenario. I told myself I wouldn't do this ever again after Mario Strikers Battle League, because that game just burned me so hard, it was so bad. But Mario Tennis Fever, well, it actually looks pretty good. First things first, I'm kind of frustrated it's tennis again. I understand that's like probably the best-selling Mario sports series.
What? Again, the last one came out in 2018. We've gotten golf since then, and strikers. So, like, what do you mean again? These guys make it sound like we get these games every year or something, like they're sports games, but not like they're FIFA or Madden. Like, no, it's been 7 years since the last one. Okay, yeah, bad call, but Like I've seen a lot of
but
people
it's
say
just
this,
a
but
little
it's
boring
not true.
because we've already had it. However, Tennis Fever seems to lean into the good side of Mario Sports, which is just when there's a bunch of random stuff happening on screen. I don't play Mario Sports games for the sports. I play them more for the Mario aspect of the Mario Sports. And considering
That's
that
the
Mario
problem.
Tennis Fever introduces these new
It's a
Fever
sports
rackets
game.
that change up the gameplay tremendously, has stuff
Like
like
again, people really need to stop doing this because these are sports games. Like, oh no, why are they playing tennis in Mario Tennis? Like, why do you think? Like again, this is very. I really strongly dislike this mindset. Like, and you see people in the community say this all the time, but like, it really does need to get called out. That yes, these are sports games. Like, you're gonna be playing the sport.
Wonder effects from Super Mario Bros. Wonder that'll also obviously change up the gameplay, and includes a full campaign that looks pretty charming, and features the first ever official appearance of Baby Waluigi. Yeah, I'm excited for Mario Tennis Fever.
That is crazy
I really
that
hope
we've
I
only
don't
just
get
now
sucked
gotten
into
that.
the Mario Sports, hype train again, and then the game ends up being super underbaked. But from everything we've seen,
I mean,
that's not the
Waluigi
case.
only
This actually
exists
looks
as a
like
Mario
pretty
Tennis,
damn good
actually.
entry into the Mario Sports series. It looks like it'll get the series back on track, and I think it will be one of the best games. Okay, next we have to talk about not necessarily new games, but games we do know we'll get, and that is games on the GameCube NSO app. Yes, the Switch 2 introduced obviously GameCube for Nintendo Switch Online, and unfortunately the release cadence has been pretty poor. This is more of a general problem I have with Nintendo Switch Online. It's ridiculous to have a subscription service that is billed either annually or monthly, but then the games that you release onto that subscription service do not follow the same cadence as the billing.
What are you talking about? He's he's making it sound like Nintendo Switch Online, like the subscription fee only gives you classic games when it has tons of other features. Like, what's he talking about?
Cycles. In fact, they don't really follow any cadence at all. It genuinely feels like Nintendo just decides, oh yeah, now's a good time to put some random Nintendo Switch Online games up, and that's what they do. More than anything else, I'm really hoping for just consistency within the GameCube games that get released this year, but I gotta throw my hat in the ring for a couple games I specifically want. Nintendo basically leaked Pikmin 2 and Metroid Prime 2, but those are both pretty boring options. Prime 2, in my opinion, it's kind of ridiculous it wasn't already there. I was really expecting Prime 2 and 3 to get remastered before 4, but obviously that didn't happen. However, Pikmin 2 is already on Switch. You can get Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on the eShop, so it's just like, what? Why are we wasting a GameCube Online slot for something you can already buy a la carte? The two main GameCube games I do want to see this year, and these are not confirmed, just my personal picks, are Mario Kart Double Dash and Mario Superstar Baseball. I think Double Dash is a really good idea to add. Say what you want about Mario Kart World, I personally do really like the game. However, it's so different from like normal Mario Kart, it's such a drastic change, that getting some slightly more traditional Mario Kart action this year would be a great way for fans who maybe aren't super into the 24 racer chaotic nature of World to still be able to play. Not only that, Double Dash is just obviously a fan favorite, and considering you could play up to 16 people using the LAN adapter for the GameCube, getting that added into the online version would be super cool.
Hell yeah.
The other game is Mario Superstar Baseball.
Yeah, Mario Tennis
we're
Online
already
would be
getting Mario
insane.
Tennis Fever this year, and most people, including myself, are kind of upset at that game for not being a new Mario Baseball. Nintendo might just be scared to release a new Mario Baseball.
Oh, come on!
Baseball is
So we move from people bitching about not getting a new strikers to bitching about a new Mario Baseball. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Is really only big in America and Japan. The game would probably sell pretty poorly in Europe just because they're not really into baseball, which is unfortunate, but it does kind of make sense why Nintendo's steering clear of that.
I've never heard that before, that Europe doesn't like baseball.
A Mario Baseball game, and they already have a Mario Baseball game for the GameCube, so it makes sense to put that on the GameCube Online, especially considering that then we would obviously be able to play that game online, which would be super fun. Let me know down in the comments below what other GameCube games you would want to see. Every other game in this video is something that's either confirmed for this year, or I'm just like pretty confident it'll be this year. But for the GameCube games, we really don't know, because Nintendo's just been all over the place with announcing the games. So drop a comment down below. Let me know what GameCube games you'd want to see in 2026. And while you're down there, if you hadn't hit the subscribe button already and are enjoying the content, it would mean a lot. Thanks, let's get back to the video. The next game we have to talk about is Pokopia. This is a really weird one. It's a $70, yeah, $70, Switch 2 exclusive Pokemon game, but it's not developed by Game Freak. It's developed by Koei Tecmo, and it seems to kind of be a Animal Crossing-esque, like, paradise town building resource.
Yeah, kind of love the genre of like gaming YouTubers who don't know Dragon Quest Builders. They all think this is some cheap knockoff thing, but I'm just like, bro, like Builders is like one of the best games I've ever played. honestly, like objectively speaking, like Builders is fucking fire. So like whenever someone tries to do this thing where they're just like, well, this looks kind of iffy, guys. I don't know about this. Like just laugh at them because they don't know what they're talking about.
gathering farming game, but set obviously in Pokemon. Now I have to come clean. Mainline Pokemon games have completely lost me. I loved them when I was growing up. Pokemon Sapphire still remains one of my favorite games of all time and something that I boot up my Game Boy Advance frequently to go play. However, I was really excited to see what Pokemon could look like on the Nintendo Switch, and then I bought Pokemon Sword and Shield, and those games sucked. I'm sorry, maybe if you're a big Pokemon fan, you'll defend those games, but I feel like most people who played them probably had the same impression that I did. The games were super clunky, felt like the absolute bare minimum for a home console Pokemon game, and had probably the most unengaging and uninspired story I have ever seen. In fact, I disliked my time with Pokemon Sword and Shield so much that I have not bought a new Pokemon game since then. I know Scarlet and Violet tried a bunch of new things, and so did the Pokemon Legends games, but Sword and Shield were so boring to me that I just really don't have a single desire to go back into a new Pokemon game. If I want to play a fun Pokemon game, I'm conceded to just go play the old ones. That is why Pokopia does kind of have me excited. It's not just taking a new approach to the formula like something with Legends, it's a completely different style of game, a complete spin-off, and in my opinion, that's kind of what I need from Pokemon right now. This is the first Pokemon game since 2019 Sword and Shield that I've really thought about picking up. And the more I see about it, the more excited I am. Maybe it's just because I'm so burnt out on the core Pokemon formula, but this more slow-paced town-building version of Pokemon seems to be really exciting to me. That's why I'm saying this could be one of the best games for the Switch in 2026. And to be honest, I'm completely shocked I'm even saying that about a Pokemon game. I guess it really took a full, non-Pokemon Pokemon game to get me excited about the franchise again, which obviously speaks more to, the past games not just being that good, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments. Next up, I have to talk about Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. However, that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. It's a new Fire Emblem game coming out. I have absolutely no interest in Fire Emblem, but every time I don't mention a game like this, the people in the comments...
Wow, no interest in Fire Emblem. Wow, so you've never played it. That's kind of my default response whenever I hear someone say this is that like, oh, so you've never played it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, grow up.
Asked me to talk about it, and really, I don't have much to say. I'm excited to get this game for my sister. She loves Fire Emblem. However, I know nothing about the series, so I really can't even say it's going to be one of the best or worst games. I mean, obviously, I'll lean toward best because I like being optimistic, but I really just don't know anything about Fire Emblem. Sorry, guys. Moving on, let's talk about a game that has not been announced, but we know it'll come. I don't know exactly what this game will be, but obviously I have my guesses. However, we will be getting something related to The Legend of Zelda for their 40th anniversary. Zelda is one of Nintendo's biggest series. It's getting a live-action movie soon, and for its 40th anniversary, they've got to have something cooking up. The interesting question, though, is what? Obviously, you instinctively go to, okay, well, we get a 2D or a 3D Zelda game. Unfortunately, I don't think we get either. Echoes of Wisdom came out in just 2024, and Tears of the Kingdom was 2023. Tears of the Kingdom is coming up on its 3rd year anniversary, but we all know 3 years is not enough time for the Zelda team to cook. They take a while in the kitchen. Because of that, I really think we'll get some sort of remake. My personal dream would be a remake of Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time in 4K on the Switch 2. I think something that really shows the graphical style of what the next Zelda game could look like, because I'm kind of hoping they switch it up. The cel-shaded style for the Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom games were good, and that really is just kind of the new look of Zelda now, I bet, especially considering how well those games sold. But they'll obviously have to at least spruce it up or just try something new with the new power of the Switch 2. I mean, we already have Switch 2 editions for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, so the cel-shaded style is kind of already looking as good as it possibly can on this console. I think getting a remake of Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, or maybe both, that's probably too much to ask for. Regardless, that could be incredible. The 3DS got remakes of both of those games, but that was actually a while ago now, so it's definitely due for another one. Especially just considering how important those games are to not just Zelda and Nintendo, but gaming as a whole. Seeing them in 4K would be awesome, and it makes sense for Zelda's 40th, because we have to get something for Zelda's 40th anniversary. Like, there's no way we don't, but I think a new 2D or 3D Zelda is just not ready yet, so a remake seems to be the perfect bet. If those do get announced, which I think they will be one of the best games, probably honestly the best game of the year. There's just something about those old 3D Zeldas, if they are able to update them and kind of get rid of some of the jank, that could seriously be like a legit Game of the Year contender.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy to say because it's a remake, but those games are so
Yes,
good with the right
they
coat of
are.
paint. They could be unbelievable.
Legit, Ocarina and Majora's Mask are still better than anything that's coming out today. So like they destroyed Metal Gear Solid, destroyed Final Fantasy VII, and they're destroying Game of the Year contenders today. Like again, like the Saturn is. You have fanboys coping on Twitter trying to tell you that the Saturn was a good video game console. And like if you bring up Ocarina of Time, they'll try and like downplay literally the greatest game ever made. That people still play today.
Alright, next we have a quick one, Rhythm Heaven Groove. It's been 10 years since the last Rhythm Heaven game, and this definitely makes sense as kind of one of the last Switch 1 exclusive games. Well, okay, it's not Switch 1 exclusive. You will be able to play it on the Switch 2, but we've got no news of like a Switch 2 update or Switch 2 edition for this game. However, it really doesn't need it. These are not graphical powerhouse games. They opt for this cute, like almost hand-drawn art style, and because of that, this makes a lot of sense to be on the Switch 1. Rhythm Heaven is a smaller game. It's never going to be a big system seller, but considering it's been so long since the last entry, and these games are good for some dumb fun, I am quite looking forward to Rhythm Heaven Groove. If you've never played a Rhythm Heaven game, the best example I could give is kind of like a mix between WarioWare and the Rhythm Kitchen or like rhythm minigames that they've added to the Super Mario Party and Super Mario Party Jamboree games. Both of those had like rhythm game side modes, and they honestly kind of felt a little bit like Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven is just that in like a WarioWare coat of paint kind of. That's the best way I could describe it. If that sounds up your alley,
I'm
then
interested in
keep
seeing
an
this
eye
game.
out
It's
for
been a
this one.
decade
Obviously,
since the
Nintendo
last
probably
one.
won't
So.
market it that much because it's Rhythm Heaven and it's kind of a smaller thing, but I am excited for it, and I think it could be one of the best games. Last thing we have to talk about is something that, again, obviously has not been announced, but that is another Mario game later this year.
Yeah, okay. So he said this is like the best and worst Nintendo Switch 2 games, and like really he didn't complain about a whole lot. So like, on the whole, pretty based video. Kind of surprised by that.
Culture.
We are in the age of the remake.
Remakes everywhere. We are going to break down exactly how reboot culture became Hollywood's biggest addiction.
If it feels like everything is getting remade right now, that's because it is. Movies, TV shows, video games, if something was popular once, there's a really good chance it's coming back with a new coat of paint and a bigger price tag. Hollywood has been living off remakes and reboots for years now. Same stories, new actors, maybe a few tweaks, and suddenly it's for a new generation. Sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't, but either way, it's safe, it's familiar, and most importantly, it sells. Nostalgia has basically become the most reliable business strategy in entertainment in recent years. Gaming followed that same path, but for slightly different reasons. Old games don't just age visually, they get trapped on dead hardware with awkward control schemes, and very outdated graphics. So remakes and remasters started as a way to preserve games, to make classics playable again without requiring a museum exhibit worth of old consoles, and at first that was great. Seeing an old favorite cleaned up, running better, and available on modern hardware actually seemed like a great thing. But somewhere along the way, that preservation angle started to blur into something else. Remakes became constant, remasters became expected, and ports started showing up at full price with barely anything changed. Which brings us to the question I want to ask. Is remake culture actually a bad thing, or does it just get a bad rap? Now I could talk about this for all developers, but I want to specifically focus on Nintendo today. Because Nintendo was a big part of normalizing this quote-unquote remake culture.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What games have they remade? They have not done what Final Fantasy VII did. They did not do what like Metal Gear Solid Delta did. What did they fucking remake? What did they do? Oh, but they ported Ocarina of Time to the 3DS. That was not a remake. It, like the way you're describing, where it's like it's a completely new thing. Like it was the same game with some like tweaks to the UI and some additional content, okay, and some minor changes. Like it's not a remake in like the sense of what you're talking about.
Companies figured out how valuable their back catalog could be. Nintendo was already repackaging old hits and selling them again to new generations. Sometimes they absolutely nailed it. Other times it felt like the same game being sold again simply because they knew people would buy it. And the wild part is that both of those things can be true at the same time. Nintendo's made some of the best remakes in gaming history, and also some of the most confusingly overpriced ones. Before we start throwing specific games under the bus, though, we need to clear something up. Because a lot of the arguments about remake culture fall apart due to people using the same words to mean completely different things. When fans fans complain about remakes, they're usually talking about 3 separate categories without realizing it. A port is basically the same game moved to new hardware with minimal changes, maybe better resolution, but nothing fundamental at all. A remaster goes a step further, cleaning up visuals and performance while keeping the original game intact. And a remake is when a game is rebuilt to feel modern, often reworking mechanics, visuals, and basically like making a brand new game. The problem is that Nintendo doesn't always price or market these differently, which is where a lot of fans start to get frustrated. And that's
Nobody cares. Like, who cares about the price point? Like, the game holds up. Okay, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I've spoken out about this before, but like, I don't care how old the game is. Like,
Okay. Hello, gamers.
hi. So this bitch, this skitty
We're
bitty,
here to play some
skitty
AI
bit.
slop.
AI slop, AI generated slop.
Holy fucking shit! I'm only here for Pikmin.
I
Who
should
didn't
probably
believe
shoot
me
this
when I
guy.
pointed out the error in
Yeah.
his Luigi's Mansion
We're
video?
fed up with Nintendo. Not clickbait.
Wow. Okay, if you don't know, both Skitty Bitty and I'm Only Here for Pikmin are grifters. They complain pretty incessantly about Nintendo, like outside of their niche. So I mean, Skitty. The only reason anybody even knows Skitty Bitty exists is because she made that like Tears of the Kingdom video. It blew up because it was like some like autistic breakdown over like why Tears of the Kingdom was bad coming from some bitch who put like 2 full playthroughs in to make it. It's like, yeah, this is like it's like a very strong testament as to how autistic people who hate Tears of the Kingdom actually are. You know, it's just like, come on.
This is serious.
Nintendo took it here. I'm gonna make the post now. Nintendo took it too far. First selling Mario Kart World for 150 euros. And now you won't believe what they're doing.
Is everyone in the subterranean complex, or there's no water, right?
No water, yeah. I think
Alright.
it's just electricity, fire, poison.
Alright. I'm bringing some red Pikmin just for emotional support.
So it's just something they. Yeah, we're fed up with Nintendo, and it's just a clip from their stream.
And his unassailable vision. No!
So yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so both these guys are grifters who only get attention when they can be critical for against Nintendo for some reason. And so you have situations like this where it's just a clip from a stream. We're fed up with Nintendo, and it's just boring fucking gameplay. Like again, this goes into why I hate Skinny Bitty so much. Like I know I don't talk about her that often, but like she really is like an example of how this kind of thing happens. You know, like she got attention for bitching about Tears of the Kingdom, and that's why she keeps doing this, and it's why that people really need to be more skeptical of these YouTubers. You know, like, well, he's been making Nintendo content for years. Yeah, and by doing that, he's realized that that being critical of Nintendo gets you more views, right? Like again, like I had to laugh at Nintendine when he like tried to come out and say that like, oh, Nintendo YouTubers thought that they were getting more views for being positive towards Nintendo. I had to laugh at that because that is so blatantly, observably wrong that like I just don't even know what he's smoking with that shit. That was just straight up delusional. You can see like just how much like how your views spike whenever you criticize Nintendo for any reason. I saw this recently when I criticized them for like the woke aspects of Tamagotchi Life, right? Like again, like I was being genuine with that criticism, right? I wasn't like being hyperbolic or grifting, but like people were like you do see your views spike when you go after Nintendo, and that's why so many of these people do this. But anyway, there's nothing really to say here. Okay.
that the upcoming Nintendo Direct is just a partner direct. I think every single Nintendo fan got disappointed. After a fairly slow 2025, the first year of the Switch 2, I think a lot of people, myself included, were expecting a big 2026. And so far we know about a few games. I've talked about those in other videos, you probably know what they are. And so far, pretty much all the games we know about should be coming in the first half of the year. Besides Fire Emblem, which is still like sort of a niche series, there's not really any...
What? He doesn't even show the right Fire Emblem. He shows Engage. What a retard. And kind of niche. Like, it's one of Nintendo's most profitable series. Like, it's their waifu thing. Like, again, like, people who, like, say Fire Emblem is niche are, like, delusional. Because, like, Fire Emblem fans are super passionate. You know, like, Dimitri is, he's still topping popularity polls in Japan, right? He's, like, one of the most popular male Nintendo characters now with female audiences, right? Like, I guess Japanese like women are like my exact opposite because like I love Edelgard, but like whatever.
Huge Nintendo
Whatever.
games coming out for the first half. Like, there's some complimentary games. And we don't know anything about the second half right now. We don't have any big game announcements. We don't know about the next Pokemon generation. We don't know what Nintendo's doing for Zelda's 40th, if they're doing anything. And the way it's looking now is it might just be a lost year for Nintendo. So it is too early to confidently say that. But if we look at 2018 for the original Switch, that year is pretty bland, considering it's the first full year of the Switch. Of course, we got Smash at the end of the year, which really carried the whole year. But if we look at the other games that...
Yeah, I actually agree. Like 2018 was like pretty shit, but like that's mostly because like 2017 was so solid, and the third parties didn't come out for 2018 like they probably should have. You know, for me, 2018 is kind of defined by Octopath Traveler and really not a whole lot else. Like it's actually, I think I went on record saying it was like one of the worst years of Nintendo ever. Honestly, I was so disappointed with 2018. Like after that, we got 2019 and everything was Kino, but like 2018 was bad, and like it's definitely something that's been memory hold by people, but like it's one of those things that just like really does need to be talked about a lot, is just how bad 2018 was. And it wasn't Nintendo's fault, but like
that year we got just a lot of ports. Like we got Captain Toad, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, and then we got a few new games like Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I mean, those aren't really great Pokemon games. Super Mario Party, a kind of mid Mario Party. Mario Tennis Aces, like, was alright. A couple Kirby games with only one of them being on the Switch. I don't think Star Allies is that good. I think it's alright, but not a top tier Kirby game. So yeah, there was not much in 2018 that was brand new and that good for Nintendo. And there was the Nintendo Labo, I forgot to mention that. So that was kind of like a lost year outside of Smash at the end. It was kind of just building up the Switch library with ports and just these smaller titles, and most of them didn't even hit, if we're being honest. But this was also a little bit excusable because we did get Smash at the end of the year, and we got so many great games in 2017. Like Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild carried that entire year. We got Xenoblade 2, we got Splatoon 2, and I think a lot of people looked past the weak year in 2018 because of that. But 2025 was not a strong year for Nintendo games. We got Mario Kart World, which very divisive game. Metroid Prime 4, another divisive game. Pokemon Legends EA, another divisive game.
Wait,
and then a couple
okay,
games
I'll give you Metroid Prime 4. That one's divisive, but like Mario Kart World, no, absolutely not. And Pokemon Legends EA, fuck no. You know, it's so amazing how people seem to think that like ZA is like a fart in the wind when it's some real. It seems to be shaping up to be this really beloved game. I think. I really think it's going to be like a favorite for a lot of fans, especially younger ones. But
Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment and Kirby Air Riders, which are more niche games. I think games like Kirby Air Riders and Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which are more niche games. So starting off the Switch 2 with back-to-back weak years is definitely a move by Nintendo. And again, this could change, but it's just very questionable why Nintendo's focusing so much on third-party support rather than their own games. Also, I completely forgot to mention Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was easily the best
I
game.
wonder why Nintendo, a company that has historically struggled with third-party games due to industry corruption, I wonder why they keep trying to bring third parties on board with their console. I wonder what it is. It sure is a mystery. Like, oh, we better get Scooby and the gang on this one. Like,
last year, but it's just surprising that they haven't even announced like remakes of games. Like, if they're not going to announce a brand new Mario, a brand new Zelda, a brand new Pikmin, brand new Animal Crossing, whatever it may be, you would think maybe they would have remakes of some classic games, but it doesn't seem like we're getting a direct soon with a partner direct coming up, so it is definitely cause for concern. I'm not freaking out yet because it's so early in the year, but let's say we get into like June and there's still almost nothing, then yeah, it might be time to call 2026 a bust for Nintendo.
Oh, come
but now
on.
something like 3D Mario, which a lot of people were expecting to be announced, I'm not so sure about that anymore. I understand why it may not be announced yet because we are getting the Mario Galaxy movie in April, so they might not want to distract from that. But so far, I'm starting to get the vibe that it's just not coming out this year. I for a while, I was thinking it would, and I was really confident it would, but now I'm starting to think it's not. I'm starting to think that we'll probably get like one big holiday game, and I don't know exactly what it's going to be yet. I hope we at least get like a new Paper Mario game this year or something, or I'd even take a Paper Mario remake at this point. I just want to see something from Nintendo that says we're still making a lot of great games for this system, like big games for this system, not like Pokemon Pokopia, whatever it's called. Like, I guess that's a little interesting, but that's not a big game. The new Yoshi game, Mario Tennis Aces, like these are games that are not gonna be your system sellers. Like your Mario, Zeldas, Pokemons, even Fire Emblem, I guess you could consider that. Even Xenoblade maybe, even though those are still kind of niche series. Like no 2D Metroid, no Pikmin, no brand new Animal Crossing. We just got the Switch 2 edition, which I think was completely unnecessary. Now we're getting Mario Wonder on the Switch 2, which could be a reason why we're not getting a new 3D Mario. And if that's why they're delaying it, that's just ridiculous. Just seems like all Nintendo's big series are just getting Switch 2 editions now of games. And I think what might be going on is Nintendo is trying to get like these Switch 2 editions out, like trying to make as much money as they can from them while there's still like the novelty of that before starting to release their big games, like starting to release their new 3D Mario, new Zelda, whatever it may be. Because if they announced a new Animal Crossing, no one would buy Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 edition. So it could just be that they're working on the next Animal Crossing now, and that's why they released that. If it's actually delaying games, it's really disappointing. I've had a lot of problems with Nintendo doing stuff like this. And you're not really able to, like, I've had some discussions with people, you're not really able to have a rational, meaningful discussion about Nintendo without someone getting hostile. Some people blindly defend Nintendo so much, like, where if you say, I'm a little disappointed by the lack of big games coming out in the system I paid $500 for, you'll have people just be snarky too. You'll have people say, oh, Nintendo's actually releasing a lot of games, you just have to wait. And yeah, they're going to release big games, but is it unreasonable to ask that those games come out within like 2 years of the Switch 2 coming out, at least some of them coming out? Because by the end of the second year of the original Switch, we had a new Mario.
These guys really need to stop bitching about the Mario and Zelda thing. Is hilarious because like we're getting plenty of Mario games and we've gotten plenty of Zelda games. Like they're very hyper specific about this. Is that they want a 3D Mario and a big open world 3D Zelda. Like they won't accept spin-offs. They won't expect like top-down games. They'll bitch about it if that happens. And like that's really funny because before Echoes of Wisdom was announced, there was this big hope that we would never ever see top-down Zelda ever again. And obviously that was retarded, but it's like it was all just a giant cope. Okay. So this is actually why I wanted to do the reaction video today. This video pissed me off. Like Arlo's going full going full grifter with this one. I think his grifter arc has officially started. And like I even said in the comment section, and a lot of people agree with me, I genuinely believe Nintendo and Arlo are the same person. Cause like this is the exact same thing that like Nintendo does, in which he comes out, makes a 20-minute long video like Doom posting about Nintendo. Like that's just the reality of it. Is that like I just don't believe that it's a coincidence. Like they're the exact same person. You know, it's just like have you seen Nintendo? Have you seen Arlo? Like no, you haven't. Like have you seen them in the same room together? Like exactly. Like they are the same. But anyway,
All that. Hindsight is 2020. Naturally, I find it endlessly fascinating to observe how bad we are at predicting the future. Like we as a species.
What are you talking about?
You know what I mean?
Most of my predictions come true. What are you talking about, Arlo? Could it be that you're a dumbass and makes hyperbolic statements and then are surprised when like none of them pan out? Like, I have a very good track record when it comes to my predictions, right? So like Arlo's sitting there, he's like, Nintendo Switch 2 isn't doing well. And then he's surprised when they announce that they are doing well. It's like, Arlo, you're just an idiot. You don't know who you're talking about.
We as a society
so
bad at predicting what's going to happen. Even though when we get to the future, when the future is now, we look at all of the variables and it's all so obvious. It's so obvious. Going into the Switch 2 generation, we knew that Nintendo was facing some challenges.
Like
We
what?
knew that the
Like
Switch
what?
2 was not going to be as much of an easy win for them.
What-
I
what are you
figured in
talk-
the long run, the Switch 2 would probably end up
What are you talking about? Like, I love how these guys are like, oh yeah, we knew the Switch would be successful. The instant, like, no, people were like in denial about how successful the Switch was for like 2 years. Okay, like you can't just rewrite history. You can't just backtrack it. Like, plenty of people were skeptical of the Switch.
being still a pretty darn great success. It just wouldn't sell quite as much as the original.
Wrong.
Switch.
It's faster
just
selling
made
than the Switch.
sense. There's gonna be some diminishing returns there. You can't
Wrong.
endlessly recreate the same hype for your products. And the Switch was such a huge phenomenon. I knew it was really not likely that they would be able to carry all of that over into a new generation. Switch 2, it's a very safe iteration on the concept. It's the same thing, but again, and better. It's naturally gonna see some lower numbers. And we knew that with the economy doing what the economy's been doing, maybe the overall demand for these luxury electronic items would go down a little bit. Nintendo just not gonna be able to price their systems or their games as competitively as they once did. But now, at the beginning of 2026, looking back at the Switch 2's first months on the market, it seems that a lot of what we perceived as potential challenges, maybe we should have noticed as red flags. That's
Oh,
a big
come
problem with
on.
trying to predict the future. You look at these potential challenges and you don't know which of them will end up being big challenges or big problems. And when they do end up being big problems, it's like, oh, I mean, we knew it'd be a problem. We just, it's like we knew, but we didn't know, you know? Before launch, Nintendo's stocks were at an all-time high.
What?
Everybody was
No.
waiting for the Switch 2. Consumers and
The stock hit their all-time high in August, you fucking retard. Like, the stocks were going up because of the Switch 2, and they were going back down again after the hype period was over. Like, it didn't. Okay. Again, this is my thing. I don't want to hear Arlo talk about the stock market. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's ignorant. He's a fucking Muppet. Okay. I'm not even sure if Muppets can participate in the stock market. So, like, why exactly are we listening to this guy talk about dips in the market? He doesn't know shit. Okay. Like, it's just a giant.
investors and analysts, everybody was expecting something huge. And you know what? They did get something huge at launch. It was the biggest launch of a console ever. It could be argued that the launch was so strong almost entirely because Nintendo just provided enough of the darn things. If there weren't chip shortages around the launch of the PS5, if Sony had been able to put as many of those on shelves as they wanted to in that first year, then that probably would have been the biggest console launch of all time.
Oh,
But there's still
yeah.
no doubt about it.
Typical fucking Arlo. Like, oh, the PlayStation 5 is way more popular than Nintendo Switch. Oh, like, it would have sold more if it wasn't for the pandemic, if it wasn't for Jeffrey Epstein, if it wasn't for, like,
Selling 10 million Switch 2s
What's he
in the span
talking
of a
about?
couple of months. Like, that's still pretty darn good. Breaking any kind of record at all is obviously a very big win. And yet after that point, Switch 2 sales slowed down pretty darn dramatically. I won't go into the entire thing now. I've done plenty of videos on this on Topic Arlo, but basically Nintendo had a really poor holiday season. And I do want to be fair, the
Wrong.
holiday season was
Debunked.
pretty much
Debunked.
bad across the board for the
Wrong.
entire video game industry. That darn AI bubble and the sudden need to build all of these data centers has driven RAM prices way up, and things are only going to get worse.
I love
throughout
how
this year.
even Arlo knows
Hardware
AI is a
getting
bubble
more and
now.
more expensive to produce. All of these companies are raising the prices of their systems over and over again. Our wallets are already hurting. Our money is worth less and less. Everything is more and more expensive. So we're gonna have to be more and more careful with these kinds of luxury purchases. And all of this is kind of added together into a holiday season that underperformed pretty much across the board. And I just find it so funny that all of the variables, all of the factors have been in place for a long time. We know about the whole AI bubble,
What?
you could probably predict that.
What the hell does AI have to do with, like, I have never heard a good explanation for this. What does AI have to do with Nintendo? Well, like, but it's making things more expensive. So, like you said, the bubble's gonna burst eventually. Like, it's just a fluctuation. It doesn't matter long term. It doesn't fucking matter.
All of these new data centers would lead to an increase in all of these hardware prices, and that would have a big effect on the bottom line of these luxury electronic goods, and that would lead to higher prices, and that may lead to more and more people just simply not making purchases of things like the Switch 2. And yet, I didn't see very many analysts predicting that something like this would happen. Admittedly, I did not go and dig into every report from every analyst, from every firm everywhere. But for the most part, whenever I saw talk of an analyst talking about Nintendo's chances with the Switch 2, they were all pretty darn optimistic. They were just like, well, the Switch sold well, so the Switch 2 will probably also sell
And
well.
it did.
Oh, sure, Nintendo is certainly facing some.
Yeah, it did. It did sell well, Arlo. Like, you're dancing around the actual issue here. Is that Nintendo did well? They're doing well. There's no real like inhibition. Like, again, the entire cope right now is that, like, Nintendo has had a successful console launch. It sold a ton of units. Like, it hinges entirely on this idea that no games will come out in 2026, and that the hardware will become so expensive that no one wants to buy it. Like, that's basically what this video amounts to, and it's kind of a dumb, like, assessment. Like, it is really fucking stupid.
Some challenges, just like I said, we all saw it. We all saw that they were facing some challenges, but they're just challenges. They'll still be okay. And yet now, just looking at the situation, looking at the sales numbers and how they have kind of, I don't want to say bottomed out. We still don't have all of the official data from the last quarter. Nintendo is probably
come on, we still
those numbers out in
what a
like
cope.
early
What a
February
cope.
or something. And I'm not here to tell you, I'm not here to claim that the Switch 2 is doomed, that the thing is going to sell terribly, it's going to be a big flop, yada yada yada. I do not think that that is true. However, I do think that this thing is going to have a much more difficult year one and maybe even year two than
No.
Nintendo or we could have.
Yeah, this is a gigantic cope.
Again, despite the fact that
What
now
a gigantic
it feels
cope.
kind of obvious, just putting together all those variables, putting the whole entire picture together.
Like,
It just kind of seemed.
notice how he doesn't talk about Nintendo or what they're doing or their release schedule. He has to, like, deflect and make it about the economy and make it about the AI bubble and make it about, like, rising prices. He can't talk about Nintendo Switch 2 because the reality is that Nintendo Switch 2 is very, very popular and it's already doing well, and that a Nintendo Direct will, like, reveal a bunch of exciting new games, but Arlo can't have that. He has to try and spin this as a negative.
Like this was inevitable. Now, okay, now here's another reason to give ourselves a little bit of credit. I think it is genuinely difficult for just about every person on this planet to really, truly grasp the idea and accept the idea that things just keep getting worse. It feels so unfair and it feels so wrong that things would just keep getting worse and worse. And of course, that the leadership.
I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm, like, jumping, like, income classes, but, like, I don't feel like things are getting worse. I feel like things are getting better. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm kind of segregated from the issues. Like, I primarily make my money online now, but it's like, I don't really feel much of an issue with, like, anything, honestly. It just feels like I'm at that point now where, like, I'm kind of segregated from the issues, and like, I don't know. Like, again, like, I kind of understand, like, the boomer mindset of, like, of how these millennials just kind of bitch about everything, because it's just like, well, if things are getting worse, then wouldn't you just work to fix it? You know what I mean? And, like, you just don't see that from these people. Like, they're always just like, "Oh, I can't afford a Switch 2. It's too expensive." Like, okay, just work and pay for it. If you really have to have it, it's like a complete non-issue, and it's kind of fake too, because, like, all of these guys own Switch 2. Not a single Nintendo YouTuber decided to pass up on the Switch 2 because of the price point. Like, that's the reality of it. So, like, all, like, the hyperbolic nonsense you see about, like, the about the console and how it's too expensive, about rising costs. Like it's all coming from people who are like who already own a console and all of the games. So like it's the entire point is moot at this stage.
Would just keep making things worse and worse and worse and worse. We think like it's gotta ease up sometime, right? And yet it just keeps happening. And yet it's like hard for us to predict that. It's hard for us to see it coming. It's hard for us to look at next year and be like, okay, well, you know, prices have been going up, inflation is out of control. It's just gonna be worse, and that is going to affect everything. Like, I don't want to be a huge downer. I try to foster an overall, like, kind of positive, optimistic vibe on this channel, but just like,
Doesn't liar,
economically
filthy liar.
speaking, stuff stinks right now, and it does just kind of seem to be getting worse. And I think even analysts, even people whose job it is to look at the entire market and all of these variables and predict what's going to happen, I think it's even hard for them to really look at it closely and put it all together. And you know what? This subject really is fascinating. I think one of the things that we have the hardest time with is like looking at the list of potential challenges and kind of calculating, or at least trying to imagine how they may all add together. It's one thing to say Nintendo faces this challenge, and there's this here, and there's this thing to consider, and it's another thing to imagine how all of those things may melt together in the pot and how the ultimate product may turn out. Because we have to remember, we're dealing with products here. We are dealing with products that people need to be convinced to purchase. And I know that sounds obvious, but like, it really is a thing. You know, a lot of this just comes down to like psychology, really, you know, like how many people are going to be swayed to purchase this thing. And when you add all of these variables together, they can really heavily impact the average person, the overall consensus of whether or not this thing is worth buying yet. The Switch 2 is a kind of boring, kind of safe iteration on the Switch. Okay,
Oh,
yeah, that's a
wow.
potential challenge. But
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Coming
it's
from one of the
still-
guys who was coming out and saying that the Switch 2 had to be exactly like the Switch 1 to be successful. Like, unfucking believable. What a joker. What
It's
a
going to be a
joker.
great system, and it's still going to have great games. And I would say at least most of the people who bought the original Switch are going to want to make the jump to Switch 2 if they want to keep playing these great Nintendo games. Yeah, the economy be crazy right now. Prices are going up and all that. But like, sure, but like, entertainment has historically done well, even in times of great economic downturns. Over the course of history, people always need their comforts. Even when money's tight, people still buy their luxury items, so like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. The powers that be do not have our best interests in mind, which is a difficult reality to grapple with. But that's kind of more or less always been the case, in a sense. So, I don't know, it'll be fine. But then, look at that. We somehow couldn't have predicted how poorly the powers that be would handle things and how much of a humongous mess they would cause. We knew things would get economically tough, but we couldn't have predicted exactly how protective of money people would be forced to become. And there is one very big, very nasty reality that I've kind of been coming to terms with. You know, it started to come up in like the second half of last year, and now going into this year with all the price increases and everything, it's becoming more and more obvious. And I kind of made the mistake of not applying this, what I was realizing, to Nintendo themselves. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on this because I do think this is a very big deal. But the long and short of it is, I think the entire game industry is in a bit of a sticky wicket this year. They're in a bit of a pickle. And if you want to boil it all down, it really just comes down to the fact that it is getting easier and easier and easier to just not purchase new video games. The game industry has just been growing and growing and growing since it first began, and there have been natural ups and downs, booms and busts. 2020, the pandemic, obviously that led to a humongous boom, and then we're kind of like seeing some of that bubble sort of pop a little bit. Overall, though, the trajectory has been up and up and up and up and up. It's a crazy profitable industry, and yet now we're finally seeing that growth stall, and we're getting reports that more and more and more people, they're just sticking to older games.
Yeah, because they're better. Yeah. So this is the same thing I was doing in the 2000s. Actually, is that I noticed that like the new games weren't as good, so I'm just like, okay, I'll just go back and play more games on GameCube, more games on like Game Boy Advance, more games on N64. Like that's what I was doing, right? All throughout the 2000s, I was doing that, and I kept doing that up until I would say even the Switch came out. Yeah, like the only reason I've been so devoted to the Switch in recent years is because it's been such a great console and because it's had so many good games. But like there is no denying that third-party developers, especially, are not making games that really appeal to anybody. And more people are realizing it all the time. It's not just Madden, Call of Duty anymore. Like people feel that way about pretty much every major
Because
franchise.
that's the thing about all of these years, especially when everything went digital, especially with like digital storefronts and Steam and indie games and everything. There's just too many games to play. There's this, like, backlogs just get longer and longer and longer, and we all kind of laugh about it, but like it really is getting to the point where like, okay, you could probably just buy like $5 indie games for the rest of your life. Like you know what I mean? Like you could spend like $1,000 right now and buy every game you could ever need to play forever. There's just like lifetimes of content now easily available on sale every single day. And when you combine this with economical factors, it's just getting harder and harder to just live and thrive in this world. More and more people are looking at these crazy expensive systems and games and just being like, nah, I'll just not. And again, I did not think to properly apply that line of thinking to Nintendo. I do think I was blinded a little bit by the crazy success.
Okay. So the problem with this argument, the problem with this take is that Nintendo puts out their old games all the time and they're successful. We just saw that with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD after the slanderous hate campaign that this Muppet tried to usher in on us. We saw this with like the Thousand Year Door remake. We saw this with like, all the remakes and re-releases in recent years, like Link's Awakening HD, right? Like we have all these options for older games if we want them, but they're also putting out good new ones. So his entire argument just kind of falls flat, okay? Like, well, people are playing older games. Yeah, they're playing older games on Nintendo consoles that they paid for. Like again, this is a massive industry cope, and it really does need to get called out, is that Nintendo is the only company that has preserved their legacy and continued to look to the future, like making new games. Like companies like Square are still re-releasing like fucking Dragon Quest 1 through 3 and Final Fantasy 7, and Nintendo's moved past that shit like ages ago. You don't see them like making spin-offs to Ocarina of Time every year. Like that's the reality of it. That's the issue Arlo can't wrap his mind around, is that like what he's describing is real, but like Nintendo is absolutely exempt from it. They absolutely have dealt with the problem before it ever became an issue. Like they don't have an issue with re-releases. They don't have an issue like maintaining an audience. They don't have any issue developing new games. Like Arlo is just kind of coping here.
Of the Switch, just like kind of everyone was, just like even the analysts were. Oh, okay, but let's continue to be fair. Let's continue to give ourselves at least a little bit of credit. There are things that we could not have predicted. The Switch's first year on the market saw the launch of so many of these system-selling tentpole games. The biggest Zelda ever, the biggest Mario ever, a new Splatoon game. So many great games, you couldn't not buy one. It sold us on the idea of itself so immediately. And I think maybe we couldn't...
Like, I noticed how he's not mentioning ARMS, which was great, or like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is a favorite. He's not mentioning a lot of these smaller games that a lot of people are straight up downplaying right now on Switch 2. It's just laughably stupid.
really have predicted that Nintendo would kind of fail to replicate that success. And I mean, like, I
Replicate.
don't think anyone expected anything
Wow.
quite as huge as that. Like, we knew we weren't going to be getting a new 3D.
I would not be surprised if Mario Kart World actually does end up selling Breath of the Wild, honestly. Like I know I've said this several times about like other games like you know um like COD and the like, but it's also true for Breath of the Wild. Like Mario Kart World is bigger than Breath of the Wild.
Zelda at launch or anything like that. But I think we did anticipate that Nintendo would be giving us at least one or two games that really sold us on the Switch 2. Made it just this
Mario Kart World was that
must-have
game.
system. And
Like,
it
and
just-
again, like, so like you have that with Bonanza and you have that with Mario Kart World. So like, what are you at? Like, what are you demanding really? Like, both those games are system sellers, and like, what we're seeing now is just people like Arlo just in denial about it. Like, no, they're not system sellers because they aren't 3D Mario's or 3D Zeldas. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's complete delusion.
it really didn't happen, and I still don't get it. Like, I'm still struggling with this. I do have to give myself credit. They had Mario Kart on day one. It's Mario Kart. That is the system seller. And I don't know, maybe it's even worth going into a whole separate video about like the psychology behind this. Like, why isn't Mario Kart World selling more systems? Is it just that Mario Kart 8
It
Deluxe
is.
was
It is. What are you talking about? It's not selling systems. Like, it was the fastest selling console ever. Like, what is he talking about? It's not selling consoles. Like, that's wrong. That is wrong.
so good? And it had so much content, so many tracks that like people are just like fine waiting. Is it
Mario
just
Kart
that
World
the
has more
open
content.
world is like the biggest selling point, and it's really not that great of a selling point?
You know, like, this is something we really do need to talk about. Because, like, people do this thing where they're like, oh, Mario Kart World doesn't have as much content as 8. And I'm just kind of sitting here thinking that, like, no, it has way more content. Like, what are you talking about? Like, Mario Kart World has Grand Prix, it has Knockout Tour, it has the time trials, it has the online play, you know, where you do like all the modes. It has like the open world like challenge modes. Like, it objectively has way more content than like 8. And like right now, people are doing this thing where they're just like, but 8 has more tracks. And I'm just like, first of all, that's DLC. And second of all, Mario Kart World has the intermissions. So like tracks are radically different depending on like where you're starting from and where you're going. So like the entire cope that like that 8 has more content is just completely wrong. And it's something that really does need to be talked about more.
Is kind of empty or something. Like, I don't know, but for whatever reason, like Mario Kart World should have been that game, one of those games, but it just wasn't. And beyond that, we just haven't had any one must-have
Wrong.
game, and I really
Wrong.
don't think we could have anticipated that
Wrong.
that would happen,
Wrong.
even though we knew
Completely
it
wrong.
was possible. We absolutely knew that it was possible. And now we're in this situation where you put all of this together. Nintendo just not really providing the games in the way that we feel like
Wrong.
they should and kind
Wrong.
of expected them to. The economy, the money, this and that, the safe iteration, blah, 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 blah. All of that put together has led to
So like, how long can these people keep up this hoax? Like this idea that Mario Kart World isn't a system seller and that like Switch 2 has no games. Like it really feels like it's not going to survive the next Nintendo Direct, honestly. Because like so many of these people, so much of this is just these guys sitting around going like, well, that's not a real game. That's not a real game. That doesn't count. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. If it's playable on Switch 2, it's a Switch 2 game.
a Nintendo playing populace that is just largely unconvinced, even though most of these factors have been clear and obvious for a good while. We just didn't put it together. We just could not imagine that the Switch 2 would struggle this much. The enthusiasts who were gonna buy the system pretty much no matter what ran out and bought a system, and now store shelves are still full of Switch 2s.
Yeah. He says this in a video where he straight up acknowledges that Nintendo has been stocking the console more. Like, what a fucking retard. I hate this narrative. Like, well, the store shelves are still full. Yeah, because they're stocking them this time. Okay, it's not
And
complicated.
they're just not really selling much beyond that. Again,
Wrong.
it's a psychological thing. It's binary. Are people gonna buy it? Are they convinced? Yes or no? And all of these factors have added together to lead to a very large percentage of the potential audience picking no. And again, I do not think that this spells doom for the console. I think that once the games really start coming out, once we do get some of those must-have titles, I really do think the Switch 2's fortunes could turn around. I think we could still see very, very good numbers by the end of the generation. But I think the Switch 2 is probably going to struggle this year.
Oh, come on.
I really
Come
do.
on.
And so much of it does come down to the games. Nintendo has not yet announced any of those games for 2026 or
Wow! It's almost like we're waiting for a direct. What is with this cope? Oh, they haven't announced anything. Yeah, we haven't had a direct yet. Dumbass.
There are currently 0 announced titles for the Switch 2 that are gonna move the kinds of units that Nintendo needs.
0 announced titles. 0. Like, again, I've said this a lot, but like, Arlo is completely underselling Tamagotchi. He's completely underselling like Pokepia. He's completely underselling like everything else that's coming. Like, he is coping. Like, this is just a giant cope. Like, he's completely delusional. Oh, like, ignore all the games that are coming out. Those aren't system sellers. Like, this is a cope, Arlo. We have our system sellers. We're good. Now we just get like, niche games for niche audiences.
And because those kinds of humongous AAA tentpole games, because they tend to need a good amount of time between reveal and release, I don't think there's basically any chance that we're going to get anything like that within the first half of 2026 and maybe even a bit beyond that. If Nintendo announces something huge...
So he's claiming that there's not going to be any big games for the first half of 2026, even though we're getting Tamagotchi Life, okay? Which absolutely is a system seller. Fuck the whole like Mario Kart World is not a system seller thing. Tamagotchi Life is, Bonanza is, Mario Kart World is. Like, the whole like coping from these people about like how Tamagotchi doesn't matter is just laughably fucking stupid. These guys are going to be completely taken aback by how well Tamagotchi does. I've been saying this since it was announced.
In February, then okay, yeah, maybe we could see it like June, July or something. There are technically no rules about how long they have to wait between reveal and release, but yeah, for really big games, it's generally a good bit. So right now, beyond like the hypotheticals, the games that we do know are going to come eventually, there isn't any real reason to get a Switch 2 right now beyond the reasons in the games that we already have. And if those haven't convinced people, then there you go. Now, I already talked about this in my predictions video, but Pokemon Gen 10 is coming this year, and I do think that right there, that is absolutely one of those games. Completely. That is going to move units. I don't know if it'll be enough to like really get the momentum going again, but at the very, very least, we are going to see a very big surge in sales. But what else has Nintendo got? Like, is that going to be it? Or does Nintendo have some other really humongous system-selling game that they're going to release in the second half? We really don't know, and I want to assume that they will. I want to assume they'll give us something else, but, like, they didn't even give us a holiday game in 2025. Like, that's not something I ever could have anticipated.
They didn't give us a holiday game. Like, what are you talking about? Pokemon Legends EA, Kirby Air Riders, Hyrule Warriors, Metroid Prime 4. No holiday game? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, everything released, like, holiday games are like October to like November, basically. December is a little bit too late. So, like, no holiday game. That is completely and totally wrong. Okay, like, what is this cope? Oh, they didn't give us a holiday game. Like, no, Arlo, that's wrong. You're coping.
The first year, the first holiday of the Switch 2's life, they would just not give us some big holiday game. Again, looking back to the Switch, Breath of the Wild on day one, and then Mario Odyssey for Christmas, that was crazy. And this time we had Mario Kart World for launch, and then nothing for Christmas. Just kinda nothing beyond like cross-gen stuff. So I want to assume Nintendo will give us something else, but like, I don't know, maybe they won't. Maybe they won't, and we really are just waiting for Pokemon. And if that's the case, it's gonna be a rough year. There are not going to be any new factors that convince people, that push people over the edge, that convince them to buy a Switch 2. It's not gonna happen until we get some games. I mean, here, like, let's do it. Let's put together all these variables to try to accurately predict the future. I think
Yeah,
that if
I love how his entire hypothesis hinges on the assumption that Nintendo isn't going to announce a single game during any of the Nintendo Directs that are going to happen this year. Like this is just retarded. Like his assertion is fundamentally flawed. Like this guy doesn't know what he's doing.
we know we're not going to be getting any huge games, at least for a good long while, Nintendo is not going to be lowering the price of the Switch 2 anytime soon. If anything,
Tamagotchi is not a system seller. Yeah, you are a complete dipshit. Tamagotchi is probably bigger than your favorite thing.
they're going to raise the price if we know that the economy is just going to get worse and worse and worse, and AI is going to drive all the prices up. Put all that together, and I see struggle. I see the Switch 2 struggling.
Yeah,
really,
Arlo,
really hard to sell. For
You know
most
how
of
you
20
opened up this video saying how like you're always wrong in your predictions? This is why, is that like you're just a dumbass who comes to the conclusion that I'll get you the most views. Like it's not based on any real data or information.
26.
You're a
like,
dipshit.
If they couldn't sell that many units during the holidays, when we actually have like extra incentive to buy these things, Christmas presents, especially like for kids and loved ones, like if that wasn't enough to drive sales in any really significant way, then what's gonna happen between now and like Pokemon, And if you want to talk even more about the multiplicative effect of all these factors, the Switch 2's relatively poor performance over the holidays, combined with the fact that again, Nintendo just hasn't really announced any other huge games, that's got Nintendo's investors a little bit freaked out. And if their stocks were at an all-time high before the Switch 2 launched, now they have
No, you
dropped.
idiot. Like I said, that happened in August. Like it's just like, come on.
Pretty darn significantly. Over the last 5 months, their stock value has dropped by like 33%. Like,
Wrong. It's gone up. Like it's gone up since then. Like I noticed that these articles were posted just before like the stock started coming back up after the holiday. So like basically what happened is that people were pulling out after people stopped buying things for the holidays. So it was like towards the end of December and like up till January, and now it's slowly crawling back up. So this was completely retarded and based on like basically the holiday and like it's just really dumb.
it was probably artificially inflated because of the Switch 2 hype, but still, like that's pretty big. And when stock prices start to fall and investors start to get scared and they pull out, that makes the other investors scared and they start to pull out. So that's why we see these kind of wild up and down swings. And as with sales, I don't know how this is going to change anytime soon without any other variables entering the equation, without any big announcements. Like, what is going to revitalize interest and confidence in Nintendo? What is going to convince investors to stick with them and ride out this dip? I really don't know. Between the investors and the customers, Nintendo has a whole lot of convincing to do. There's all this pressure to both recreate the financial success of the Switch and then just provide us with cool games. That spotlight, that bright beam is right on them, and all of us, just like the whole world collectively, we're just... Okay. Clock's ticking, Nintendo. Where is it? Where's the game?
It is, yeah. Yeah, pretending that games don't exist. Right. Yeah, I've made videos about this, talking about this, right? So if you make the argument that like Switch 2 has no games, you have to downplay the entire Switch 1 backlog catalog. You have to downplay the third-party ports. You have to downplay like Nintendo Switch 2 editions. Like you have to downplay like a ton of Switch 2 games. And like what ends up happening is that you end up like Arlo and you sit there and you tell people with a straight face, like, yeah, Mario Kart World isn't a system seller. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Like, it is so frustrating. It is so obnoxious. I just, I cannot take it seriously.
Games. Where's the money? And I really do think in a couple years things could be different. You know, again, like we'll get Pokemon and we'll get like Smash or something, and eventually we get like a 3D Mario, and things will definitely they'll turn around. I really do think overall the Switch 2 is probably going to do at least okay. You know, I just think Nintendo is going to have to work for that success a lot harder than they may have initially anticipated. Which, hey, I mean, that's a good thing, right? You know, like what happens with pretty much all video game companies. They get this big, easy win. Their head gets a little bit too big for their shoulders. So, like, no, big fat slice of humble pie is probably exactly what Nintendo needs right now. Whatever the case, though, there's no bad doubt it. It is going to be an interesting year for Nintendo and the Switch.
I can't wait until like these copes fall apart because they 100% are. Like, I would argue that they have been for months, but like these guys are going to cling on onto this idea that like, oh, things could turn around and Nintendo could start failing until like they just can't anymore. It's going to be crazy. Like when Nintendo actually unveils their sales numbers and these guys have to downplay like 18 million units sold in 6 months or something crazy like that. Like it's just like it is crazy. It is unbelievably crazy. Yeah, so I'm not going to be streaming too long tonight. I got to be somewhere tomorrow morning. All right. And so here we are with some new Super Mario Bros. U. Absolute keynote. So it's like, yeah. So what I'm doing, like, I'm still playing a ton of Switch 2 games, but I'm also playing a lot of old ones. I'm playing Wario Land 4. I'm playing this. Like, why exactly do you need brand new games to buy a Switch 2? Because like new games are coming out all the time, right? Like I've been playing a ton of new games with my console, but like at the same time, like I'm playing plenty of Switch 2 editions and multiplats and like re-releases and NSO games. It's like what like these guys really talk as if like only like system sellers matter, and that's just not the way to look at it, because plenty of people like, Mario Kart World was not my favorite game last year, right? But I still really liked it, and it's a good general Nintendo game, but like, I was more into Hitman, it's like yeah, everything we've seen is just people coping and seething of the Switch 2 success. I feel like Arlo is like I don't know. This might be the end of the copes, honestly, because like one of the things we've seen is that like a lot of grifters came out and like supported Arlo when he started banging on about this. Like, oh, even Arlo's turned on Nintendo, and it's just Arlo was never our guy, is like my thing. And it feels like him doing this is just going to kill his credibility like years from now. Like, Nintendo fans are going to stop watching him, and the PC grifters aren't going to care. So he's going to be stuck doing this like indefinitely. The same way that like Maelstrom or like Pat the NES Punk has. Like, they don't care about the company or the games. They just want to grift and not get a real job. Ouch. God damn it, my chest hurts. I don't know what is causing it. Nintendo fans never actually watch the Nintendo influence. Yeah, because I keep seeing like people talk about like Nintendo influencers, and I'm just like, who the fuck are you talking about? Because like none of these guys like are like support the company. Like, are you talking about Kit and Krista? Like, those guys are fucking parasites. Like, there just are no Nintendo influencers because Nintendo doesn't seem to have like any influencer program. Um, shit. Why do I hurt so badly? I don't get it. I don't hate Kit and Krista. Oh, come on. Shit days. Shit days. I hated them back when they worked for Nintendo. Like, they were the worst. They were the worst. They were so fake and transparent. Like, I just, ugh. Yeah, I don't. They deny being fired, but I like to think they were. Like, I don't. They sucked at promoting the games. Like, and it's just like they go independent, and then they start like they only get talked about whenever they talk about like some behind the scenes thing from like 10 years ago. And I'm just kind of surprised that like Nintendo didn't like make them sign an NDA or something. I wouldn't be surprised if they make employees do that going forward to avoid these kind of situations. But like, um, I don't know, that Chris Pranger guy, who worked at NOA like 10 years ago, who got fired for like talking about Sakurai on a podcast. What he did is like was relatively mild compared to what they do. So I don't know whether it was because of their contract or what. Like, I don't know. I imagine like they started Nintendo Minute before like internet culture kind of solidified, because I feel like before like 2012 it was always kind of in flux. Like, I remember when like, 8.8 was a meme and like the PS3 has no games. Like, back in the day, it felt like internet culture was like changing all the time. And now, like, over the past decade, it feels like it hasn't changed all that much. So, like, I don't know, maybe Nintendo Minute was just a byproduct of that era. And they didn't think to like give these people NDAs, that they wouldn't like go to fan sites and start like making weird comments about certain series and like developers, and just I hate Kit and Krista with a passion. I don't talk about them that much because they are kind of irrelevant, but like it is very frustrating to see like so many people like watch them and take them seriously. Who's Young Defiant? The name does sound familiar, but it does seem kind of dumb. I was thinking about doing a reaction to Smash JT, but like I I don't know because it's just like I'm so mixed on the Tamagotchi thing. Because like on one hand, it is woke that they did this, but on the other hand, it feels pretty. It does feel as if like the actual audience wants this, while like the grifters like aren't the audience. So like I don't know. I do have kind of an issue with how the situation has been handled. Like, and again, this just goes to show you just how worthless like the anti woke community is because they don't even play the games they bitch about. Like, oh, Nintendo's gone woke. It's Nukem doesn't like. Well, nobody likes Kit and Krista. Nobody. Yeah, it sucks that I gotta go to bed soon. I feel like I really want to keep playing, but yeah. Ugh. Yeah, I might just end the stream now. I only came live, so went live so I could like make some shekels, but yeah, I had to look at my income today. Yeah, thank you all for your support. January was way better than I thought it would be because I was expecting it to tank uh, because of like the RPM going down, but no, it stayed pretty stable, so I'm very happy about that. It definitely feels more and more as if like it's more viable for me to do this. So like I definitely have like a long way to go before like I'm a able to be a career YouTuber or like I suppose a side hustle YouTuber because but like yeah once I get there and I'm like making money every day that'll be fantastic. I am very the book sales are very up and down. It is kind of my thing, and I've been very apprehensive about relying on that for a long time. But if the YouTube, well, first of all, if it gets high enough, that's a good thing. But like also, I can use the YouTube channel to promote like the books and keep that going up. And of course, I've been experimenting with other marketing tactics as well. Like one of them has been very successful. So like we'll have to see just how that plays out in the future. I don't know. Like this is always what I wanted to do, but like the issue is that like it happened way too fucking soon. Like I really needed to spend like another 5 years working normal jobs and like, accumulating wealth and then doing it. But like no, it just I don't know. It's unfortunate, but like, I saw it coming a mile away and there was just nothing I could do about it. My stomach. Yeah. I'm sorry, my chest. It's my chest. That's right. Yeah, next week. Yeah. Yeah, they're airing it at some event called the Super Bowl. Never heard of it. Like again, like just release a fucking trailer. Like you did the direct. That was the time to release it. Like what the fuck do I care about like a Super Bowl for? Oh yeah. I tried to like look at like Epstein's like official email files. I was trying to find something interesting, but I couldn't think of anything. And like I don't know, the website's kind of trash. I don't know. I would like a better website to go through all the information. Like the official government one is like shit. It wants you to like put in keywords and then like segregate segregate it based on topics, and I'm just kind of like I don't get how this works. It just doesn't work. Yeah, Bobby Kotick was implicated, weren't they? Like I've heard, and I don't know if this is true. I wanted to verify it. That like Jeffrey Epstein was straight up encouraging Bobby Kotick to put microtransactions into COD, and if that's true, that explains so fucking much. That is unbelievably sad and ridiculous. That is fucking crazy. That like fucking Epstein was behind it. Pusha T and Jay Z were named. Yeah. So who are all the celebrities named? Like I didn't recognize any of the names I saw, but like yeah, I wanted to see if like anybody in the gaming industry was so I could like clown on them. Like Bill Gates, we've known about that forever. Yeah, supposedly that's why Melinda divorced him, is that he was implicated. So we'll see. Yeah, that's the weird thing about Bill Gates is that like he's a Machiavellian like supervillain at this point, and everybody knows it, but like he's also kind of pathetic. He's like a billionaire and he still can't get bitches. Like what the fuck? What level of nerd do you have to be to get at that level? It's just crazy. Yeah, people keep talking about Stephen Hawking, but like I don't. I don't know. So like, was Stephen Hawking kind of like Black Science Man or like Carl Sagan, where they're just frauds? Like that's kind of my impression of Stephen Hawking by like reading his work, is that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But like I don't know. I've learned not to trust these pop scientists, and I'm very curious how long it's the grift is going to continue. I mean, people clown on like Black Science Man all the time, so Stephen Hawking is irrelevant. Well, he's dead. Like that's the thing about Stephen Hawking, is that like he's dead now, so they can't keep pimping him out like they used to. I don't, like Dawkins. Oh no, I'm sorry, Charles Dawkins. Richard Dawkins is like going off the plantation and talking about how he's like a cultural Christian now because he's just learned to hate Islam so much. So you are never gonna see like people hype him up like talking shit about Islamists the way they did for Christianity. It's gonna be really interesting seeing like how that kind of falls apart. And that's something that people have noticed for a long time, is how like these anti-religious activists never seem to go after Islam or especially Judaism. It's very coincidental. It really makes you think. Well, that's my point. Is that like a lot of these pop scientists don't actually do any real work. They just kind of go around and like advocate. Like they do this vague thing where they like advocate for various fields, but don't like actually publish anything or do any actual scientist stuff. Like that's my point. Is that like Hawking definitely wasn't doing that. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't see like any reason why I should believe this guy is like worth listening to. Uh, oh shit! What the fuck was that? Come god, come on. Damn it. Islam and protected in Arab. I'm curious how long that's gonna last because I do think like the UK is kind of like the public is pushing back against it, and like the upper class is doing nothing about it because they benefit, but like it's gonna collapse at some point. Like I'm interested in I'm interested in seeing if this is like what brings about the end of the royal family because they haven't done shit to protect the people. So like that's what I'm advocating for is just eliminate the royal family. Start like forming like some weird like white ethno nationalist like government, and then just like purging all the undesirables. Like it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of like when. I do think at this point like the whole like replacement thing isn't gonna work. And I think the big problem is that like these people can't accomplish anything without like all the doors being like held wide open for them, like without like the government babying them like all throughout the process, like they can't accomplish anything. Like that's the issue. So like just fuck it, like just removing the government is really all we need to do at this stage. Like anyway, people will like gradually begin to hate them, I think. That's how it always starts, right? Like we're only just now entering that stage where we're realizing that the elites are all like pedophiles. That's something that's been like people have known for years, but like it's a lot more like in the open now, and like they don't have the capacity to like normalize it or like damage control. Like they are not going to be able to stop what's coming, and it's going to be great. Yeah, I can't follow the chat. It's too fast, and I'm too busy struggling. I'm the struggler. I'm guts. Yeah, if you didn't know, the challenge mode is really, really, really fucking hard. The hell? So you have to jump on top of it. Okay. Harman just casually being a fascist. It's becoming more mainstream, yeah. Like you can't just call people fascist for wanting certain things and like expect them to like not agree with the sentiment. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'm a fascist. So what? Yeah, so that's gonna be the big problem, I think, is that like traditionally they were like able to demonize their political enemies, like, and that's becoming like very difficult to do. Like especially when you like when you say things like, yeah, I want like a safe, secure society that protects children and like has our best interests at heart. Like, when you say things like that, like, yeah, that's all perfectly reasonable. Like, why would we not want that? Like, the commies have never been able to like justify why we need to have like diversity in the streets, like everywhere. It's there's no good explanation for it. So they have to just keep like, trying to like find something that sticks, and it's just not going to, honestly. And now that it's affecting people, it's starting to collapse in a big way. Like fuck diversity. This game has more content than Wonder. It does, yeah. Um, well, I mean, definitely with the DLC, but like base game, I don't know. Yeah, I put a good like 40 hours into Wonder, I think. So yeah, I think base game isn't quite as long as Wonder. Wonder has like a lot of stuff in it. Like I think it has like more secret exits for sure, a better map. I believe more levels. Like I mean, Wonder isn't a super long game either, but like uh yeah, Wonder is really interesting because like everybody wrote it off when it came out, but like I kind of realized like it's actually my favorite 2D Mario game now. I think it's way better than Mario 3, and it's very interesting how people tried to downplay it because they kept doing this thing like, well, it's never going to be as good as Super Mario Bros. 3, and you just kind of have to like laugh at that kind of thing because it's such an obvious cope. Like it really needs to be like explored more. The idea that these people just can't move past this idea that Mario 3 is peak. Like nothing is ever going to surpass Mario 3 for these people because like they just will not accept it. Like I've seen these people get really autistic. Like I've seen people say that like this game like Mario 3 not having checkpoints makes it like the best paced platformer ever. And that's like an obvious cope, but at the same time, yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream and just have something to eat and go to bed. I am not feeling super great. And, yeah, when you have to like do like stupid frame perfect like triple jumps, like you just know this game is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, but like Mario Wonder Meetup at Belleville Park should be like something that people are really looking forward to. And like anybody who's like honest is hyped for it. I know Demishu's, I know I am. Like there should be a lot of enthusiasm around this game, but like you're seeing like people just kind of being ambivalent to it, just like they were for Wonder. So like it's like, what are you talking about? I just No one is really hyped for it. Yeah, you're a filthy liar. Like again, like it's the grifter community that aren't excited for it. Actual fans are, but like people like Arlo and the like probably won't even bring it up. Truth be told, I don't even know if Arlo played the original Mario Wonder. Truth be told, I don't. But yeah, there's no denying Wonder's like a really popular game now. So like I feel like these people aren't going to be able to bury it. It's kind of like where Bowser's Fury is today, because you keep seeing people like I've noticed this a lot recently, where like people are like glazing Bowser's Fury, and at the time I don't think it was that big of a deal, but like a lot of people really love that game. So I think Mario Wonder is kind of going to be the same way, where like the actual audience is going to play it and hype it up as one of the all-time greats, while like these grifters keep bleeding on about Mario 3. But yeah, Mario Wonder was my game of the year 2023. So it's I am like stoked that we're getting more from it. I was really concerned that we that would be the last 2D Mario game we got in a while, or like actually I was concerned it was going to be the last 2D Mario game that like where all the people who worked on Super Mario Bros would still be around. Um, but no, it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like Well, I don't know. Maybe there's different teams on Belleville Park. We'll see. Yeah, I think it's too early to say that. I'm sure Miyamoto will be credited, but we'll see. Yeah, I have never finished Bowser's Fury. Like I just wasn't interested in it. Like every time I go back to like 3D World Deluxe, I'm just grinding through the base game, which I don't even like that much, honestly. Like Bowser's Fury, I have played a little bit, but like every time I do, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, this isn't what I'm looking for. Like I don't understand why don't you have like four different players? Like why isn't it like the base game? Like I just don't understand like why they structured it the way they did. It was just very frustrating to me. Like honestly, they probably should have just done more Captain Toad stuff. Honestly, with that would have been the perfect time for it. Like Bowser's Fury was just like I don't know. It was one of shit. What is his name? Oh come on! Stop at Smash Melee players. No respect for them. None at all. Like again, all these Nintendo fan bases, they have like these elitist fans who pick one game and just kind of stick with it forever. You know, like for Mario fans, it's Mario 3. For Zelda fans, it's like all sorts of things, really. The original Zelda, Metroid and Super Metroid. Like Smashes are like Melee fans, and they always have been. So like Melee fans are probably one of the worst group of people in the community. Like I can't think of anybody more disgusting than like Melee. Like those guys are like defending pedophiles and shit. No, not just defending pedophiles. They have like entire organizations that like allow like pro players to like fuck with like underage girls. It's just weird, bro. I almost became a Mario 64 boomer. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there are Mario 64 boomers. Like, essentially, the boomer mindset comes from this idea that, like, you play one game when you're young, and then you think you're an expert on it, and then you start, like, dictating, like, whether or not, like, the follow ups are, like, as good as it. It's a giant cope, honestly. Like, again, it's kind of remarkable how little, like, Sean Malmstrom has played Mario games over the years, in spite of his insistence that, like, 3 is, like, one of the best things ever made. It's, like, it's ridiculous. Especially when he like sticks with franchises like Final Fantasy. Um, as much as I love 64, I'd rather play Galaxy. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure in a couple of years we're gonna have Galaxy boomers. We might have already started seeing it actually, but I don't know. Like I feel like at a certain point, there's so many like 10 out of 10 games in a franchise. It gets really hard to keep pushing this meme that like one game is just better than the rest of it. Like, because we kind of saw this with Zelda too, because like people used to do that. It's like, oh yeah, it's like it'll never be as good as the original, bro. And then like that kind of fell apart after Breath of the Wild, and it's never really been the same since. Metroid's kind of going through this now with Super because like every Metroid game is like negatively compared to Super now, and it's just Path of Radiant. I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened to Fire Emblem. The way it works in Fire Emblem is a little bit different because like people love to say like the pre-awakening games are better, even though they're not. It's just a giant grift. Shit. I don't play Nintendo one bit. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Like the shit that was going on there. There was a reason Nintendo was like very unwilling to support events, and like people tried to make them out to be the bad guy, that they were just being overreacting. But like, yeah, there was a good reason why they didn't want to be involved. GameCube boomers, yeah. I mean, that's been true for like a decade. Yeah. Like, I don't know what it is about GameCube babies. I suppose because it became such a meme during the Wii years to say the GameCube was way better. I think that's like all it is because you don't really see that. You don't really see like you don't usually see people do that for Nintendo consoles where they say the old one was better, but it was really common during the Wii years. So I think that's what like kind of cemented the mindset for people. They might have pulled it off. No shit. GameCube boomers are the same people who claim the PS2 destroyed the GameCube. I don't think so. No. GameCube. Like I said, I think it is because of the Wii's backward compatibility. So like, everyone was playing GameCube games all throughout the Wii generation, right? So like a lot of people would get their hands on GameCube games and like, it is probably not unreasonable to assume that a lot of GameCube babies never owned a GameCube and just played GameCube games on the Wii. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like if you take that into consideration, it was a generation that like lasted like twice as long as most people assume. Like it's why the collector's market for GameCube games are so insane. It's because the Wii was so popular and it could play GameCube games, and like suddenly there was this huge demand for this console, and like it started exploding from there. So yeah, the GameCube was very relevant for a long time, and it still is. It's interesting how nostalgic people are for it. Like I've started like going back to it too. Like for a while there, I was saying it was my least favorite Nintendo console, and I still I think I've kind of shifted to where like I feel like the NES is my least favorite because I've gotten so tired of like people glazing those games, and like I've played so many of them, and I just think what I genuinely have more fun playing GameCube games. So like these days, I kind of lean more towards like NES being worse, but that's mostly because of the console's age. Honestly, I don't know. I we'll see. It's interesting how your perspective on these things changes as you get older. A lot of kids getting used GameCube games, yeah, probably really common. I mean, those things are really durable. Like, I'm sure mine still works. I showed it on stream a while back. Like, mine's pretty fucked up, but like, I'm sure it still works. I haven't used it in forever. I don't know when I ever will. I don't. There's no reason for me to plug it in, really. Yeah, the GameCube was just better. Yeah, like that's the trend. Like you'll notice is that like if you go to someone's house with a GameCube and a PS2, you would like inevitably always play the GameCube because it just has better multiplayer games, right? Like Melee by itself like raped the entire PlayStation library and kind of like made a lot of Nintendo characters like icons for kids. Like the amount of girls I knew who were like huge fans of Marth in spite of like Fire Emblem not being out in the West yet. Like that was crazy, you know. I remember one time we were like playing tennis and like we started talking about this girl named Kirby, and then like the girl we were with was started like made a crack about like Smash Bros. It's like the characters were becoming like mainstream. Like she was really hot too. For the record. But yeah, she like made a joke about it, and it just kind of dawned on me just how like effective like Smash Bros was at like introducing people to like relatively obscure Nintendo games. Because like I think none of us were into Kirby at the time. Uh, like I think like everybody was like, yeah, Kirby from Smash Bros. Well, I played Kirby 64, but like everybody I was with then was like, yeah, Kirby from Smash Bros. It's weird how they're like actual fucking people named Kirby. It's like an actual fucking American name. Uh, Mini game devs hate the modding community or love it. Yeah, Kirby was named after a lawyer. Yeah, that's crazy that's not like more common Nintendo lore. Like Pauline was named after like some NOA's executive's wife or something, which is kind of crazy too. Like the story is true. Like they verified it on a Nintendo showcase on Treehouse Live. So like I don't know, man. They fucking name like a lot of their critical characters after NOA employees. Like Mario was named after the landlord, who's dead now, by the way. R.I.P. Uh, so yeah, Miyamoto did not come up with the name of Mario. Actually, it was an American invention. But again, like this is like the thing. Like people say that like NOA doesn't matter and that they're worthless, but that's not really true. They made a lot of contributions in the 80s and 90s. Like I'm very curious, like what the shift, why the shift happened. Because like when like Killer Instinct was made, you had like an NOA employee like pitching the idea to Rare, and they made it together, and it was a relatively big success. So like I don't know. Yeah, like I think they were just bungling as early as like 2000 because like Nintendo software technology failed. They were like doing the Project Hammer thing, and that like full like that collapsed. That was a huge disaster. Um, you had like uh yeah. They got an exclusivity contract with Star Wars for a bit in the 2000s. Like it feels like around like the turn of the millennium, they started like fucking up, and I don't necessarily know what that was about. Like maybe the change in leadership because that's when Reggie came in, and I think Reggie must not have been as good as an executive as like Howard Lincoln. Like Howard Lincoln was in like Reggie's spot, right? So like I don't know, like it feels like they were actually like taking strides to like try and like present themselves to Americans in like the 80s and 90s, and then that just kind of stopped in the 2000s where it became like super Japanese focused. And that was something that a lot of people were complaining about is like this idea that like they weren't making things targeted towards Americans anymore. Um, and I think a big part of that is losing Rareware, but like I think it was just their general focus of like having like a Japanese first approach, and it did work for them like very well. But it's definitely interesting like how much American players like hated that. Like again, like it was very common to hate Japanese shit at that time, so that's probably do the yeah. id Software after Doom. I don't know. I don't see them making a Doom 4. It feels like it's just done now and nobody cares. Um, I don't know. Doom. This is hopefully the end of like the Doom reboot saga, but I don't know. I wouldn't get my hopes up for that. Oh shit! I screwed that up. Yeah, Reggie just wasn't bringing stuff over. He was like making all these weird decisions, like not taking responsibility for them. Like I think he tries to tell people that like he wasn't responsible for like Mother 3 and like other games not coming over, and it's just like I'm gonna press X to doubt on that. Like that was like Mother 3 is a pretty notorious example, but there were like several other games that just didn't come over for really. no reason. Like it was pretty common all throughout the 2000s. We didn't even think. Yeah, Mother 3 is straight up commie propaganda. Like straight up. Like I hate Mother 3 with a passion, like the more I play it. I've never finished it, but like I have no desire to. I just think it's not very good. Mother 3. So is it not very popular in Japan? So like what it seems like to me is that the only people who played Mother 3 are like Americans who like imported it and like, agreed with the communist message. Like I feel like actual Japanese players are pretty ambivalent towards the Mother IP. I find that really interesting is that they is that Mother's relevancy like entirely hinged on like the online community. And I just don't respect it, honestly. Like, because that's the community that birthed like Toby Fox. Like for a while there, I would say that like the Earthbound community was the worst Nintendo fan base ever, and like that was true for a long time. But I think when Undertale came out, like that kind of led to the shift where these people became more of Toby Fox fans as opposed to like Earthbound fans, and now you don't really see anything about it anymore. But yeah, I have no respect for Mother 3, like none. Oh, but his mom dies in the beginning. Yeah, like in every RPG ever. It does. I mean, they're bringing over like they're localizing old games now. So I think the Virtual Boy has confirmed that. So I think it's very possible that we'll eventually get Mother 3 released on NSO. And when it does, like nobody is gonna give a fuck. Like it's gonna be like any other NSO game. It's just not gonna do well. Like I mean, it feels like NSO is really popular, but what we're seeing out of the community is just kind of this like we're in this period where like everyone's kind of in denial about it. Because every time like we get a new update, like it's always like this. Well, this wasn't on here already. Oh, and like it's just a giant cope. Like shut the fuck up. Like I don't want to hear it. Like what we've had NSO for like a decade now, almost, and it's like we're still dealing with these stubborn retards. Like I'm just very shocked that they've been able to drag this out so long. But I suppose like it's like the PC gaming community that will just never ever like support this service ever. So I don't know, man. Like as Nintendo cracks down on ROMs more and more, um they're gonna have to slowly start like getting back onto Nintendo consoles. It's gonna be glorious. Who made fun of Arkham Knight? Oh, based. Yeah, I'm very interested in playing through the Arkham games again. I have the trilogy on hold at the library, so we're gonna go ahead and probably play through Arkham Asylum, then do City, and then do Night. I do want to commit to finishing Night this time, but PC gaming is becoming unpopular. Yeah, because like there's no real benefit to it. Like the narrative is that like, oh yeah, it's cheaper and better than like console gaming, but like if you look into it a little bit, it's not, and like it's just like people trying to gaslight you. And like especially with rising prices, it's like why the fuck would I get a PC when I could get like a console that does the same thing but better? And like the traditional cope of like, well, it has more multimedia features, like my console has all of that. So it just doesn't fucking work. Ah shit. Fuck that up. Yeah, so have I. Like, it's a popular service. Like it's more popular than Game Pass now is for sure, but like, everyone glazed Game Pass and they just downplayed NSO and I don't know how much longer this will continue because once like the cope fails in regards to the NSO, because like one of the things we were told going into this was that like, oh yeah, they're gonna reset the library every console gen, and then you'll have to wait for the drip feed again, and like that didn't fucking happen. So like this is something that like I think a lot of people haven't realized yet, but like those games, like when they get released, they're there to stay. Like they'll always be releasing more games on it, but like once they're on there, they're staying and they're legal. So yeah, ZA is a blast. It's so good. Uh yeah, but Epstein was an Xbox fan, of course he is. Do you think he and Bell like played Xbox Live together, talking about like all their misadventures? Like, holy shit! Imagine being in a lobby with them. Like, it's crazy to me that like Epstein was like playing fucking video games and like watching Yuri anime. That's just fucking crazy. I mean, Yuri fans are never gonna live that down. Like Jeffrey Epstein was a fan of Yuri. So much of like Yuri's appeal is this idea that like filthy men don't like ruin girls with it, but like I don't know, man. Epstein liked it, so PC can't innovate and it can't introduce new ideas or franchises, right? Like everything it does, like everything on PC is available on consoles. So there's no like major PC developers. There's no like major indie games you can only find on PC. Like PC serves no purpose outside of like, super enthusiasts like modding games and stuff like that. But that's not really something that like really pertains to like normal players. So it's just kind of a niche thing, basically. The founder of 4chan. Really? Moot was in. Oh wow. Yeah, Christopher Poole. Yeah, like what didn't it come out that like Zoe Quinn like said, didn't she like hit someone up to tell Moot to like to do something unfortunate? Like I think Zoe Quinn was trying to say that Poll was invented because of her, which is like wrong, but like that's very interesting that she's like she keeps trying to insert herself into this drama to make herself relevant. It's just crazy. But yeah, she was like she knew someone who knew like Epstein personally, apparently, which is like fucking crazy. I don't know. Maybe she was like one of those sex slaves growing up, and that's why she turned out the way she did. I don't know. I don't know how this works. Yeah, Poole has not been relevant since selling off 4chan. Like he did it all for like some pussy, and like he probably didn't get it. Yeah, Poole like Chris like he really had the opportunity to be like to be the biggest name in free speech, by like supporting the audience and the crowd, but like nah, he chose to sell out to like pedophile elites instead. Like fuck Poole. Like I've been saying this since Gamergate happened, but like Poole is just like a disgusting human being. Like he bungled Gamergate, he fumbled the fappening, like he fumbled, like he's a piece of shit. Like and yet it feels like 4chan was pretty restrictive, right? Like they worked pretty hard to like censor like the wrong opinions, but like they still ended up trickling through anyway, like because it's because of like the ranking system, right? Like because like okay, so the way Reddit works is that you get karma, right? So basically you get rewarded for having like the right opinions, basically. 4chan doesn't do that. So what ended up happening is that like the truth ended up like slowly trickling out and like it couldn't be contained. Like they were talking today about how Poll was like originally supposed to be like a Fed op, like a Fed run thing where they were just like gonna propagandize people against like their extremist views, but like it ended up not working. Like they couldn't do anything. Like they fought really hard for it. Like if they tried like shutting it down, like these people would just go somewhere else, you know, like it's been a real problem for them. They don't know how to contain our autism. So it's like, well, I don't use poll anymore because of yeah, so like, you know, one of the things I would notice like that would do is that they would always like try and make like black threads or like um flat earth threads and try and talk about shit that nobody cared about. Like and like it just kind of led to these like to people realizing that these conspiracies were always just like meant to deflect from like actual conspiracies and what's actually happening. So it's like you know, they're decades old like psyops. Like, oh yeah, people actually believe this, bro. Like it just completely fell apart. Like there is no recovery from this. They are already finished. Like I've been saying this since like 2020. They're done. It's just a matter of time until like everything just kind of collapses for good. On X. Yeah, yeah. So X relaxed their censorship policies a little bit, and now it's like the new poll, essentially. And again, like it didn't work on poll either, but like X is like interesting because like they were initially like very pro censorship, and then like none of that fucking worked. So like they had to like do this thing where they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna have our guy Musk, who's totally who's totally base guys. Like we're gonna have him acquire it, and like he's gonna let you do everything you want. Yeah, like it's like, and that didn't work either. So like they're kind of struggling containing the narrative now. I don't. Even my like I went to go see grandma yesterday, and like for the first time fucking ever, like the TV's off, and she tells me like, yeah, I turned it off because the news people won't stop talking about the same things I don't care about. And like that's the same way I felt about it, because like you watch these people enough, and I'm just like, why are they not talking about fixing actual fucking problems? Like I don't fucking care about this or that. Like talk about like seriously ending immigration and sending people to prison. Like I don't want to hear your nonsense. Like, you know, their podcasts don't take off because nobody wants to watch them. They can't even force people to sit there and like watch their propaganda anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. Uh yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a while yet until we're like openly talking about like the Jews and shit like that. But it's happening for sure. It's definitely becoming more normalized. Um yeah, censor using AI. AI, it's not going to be possible to use AI for that because like everybody just like works around it. You know what I mean? Like again, what's going to happen is that people just like they're just going to slowly introduce like code words and lingo, and like the AI is just not going to be able to keep up with it. Like what's going to happen with the AI thing is that like AI is going to spam like everything, trying to make like its ideas heard, and everybody's just going to ignore it. Like nobody's going to give a fuck. Like again, like I saw it happen where they had like they already had like, you know, a list of talking points like posting in every thread, trying to control the narrative, and like it just didn't go anywhere. Like nobody listened to it because it was so obviously bullshit. So like that's all like the AI is gonna be, is if like, you know, like throttling didn't work, you know, shadow banning didn't work, you know, allowing people to do whatever they want didn't work. Like they're fucked. They are completely fucked. Yeah, this is fucking brutal. It's insane. Ah, shit, I screwed that up. Yeah, trying to mandate IDs. Yeah, that's their next step, is trying to mandate IDs for social media. I feel like uh I don't know. I know they come after you if you post like things on social media. I don't know. I feel like everybody who's actually gonna do anything about it is just gonna like use a VPN or something. They're talking about getting rid of that too, right? It's not gonna work. There's gonna be ways around it. Like I don't know. Like they're trying to crack down on it, but it's like way too late for that. Like demoralizing the population didn't work. Like I think. Like that's kind of what I've noticed is that like yeah, AI slap video games. Yeah, yeah. I touched on this when like Arlo was talking about it, like how AI is a bubble. It's 100% a bubble. Like the idea that like AI will completely replace like actual game devs is laughable. Like it's just so stupid. Yeah, like basically what AI is gonna does is just copy what other people do and say, and just kind of like summarize it. So like they don't have it doesn't have the ability to like grow and evolve like an actual person. AI will replace bad game devs. Yeah, so it's a tool. Like okay, the reason they're going all in on it is that they think they'll be able to replace labor with it. But like it's just not gonna happen. Like it's a fucking tool. Like you're gonna have people using AI to do the things that AI can do, and it's just like it's not gonna be some um like job removing thing. Like that's what they keep trying to say is that like oh AI is already taking jobs. No, they're firing people to replace them with Indians. Like that's what's actually happening. But like they're just using AI as a smokescreen right now. And I wonder when it's gonna like when that's gonna fall apart. I don't know. It feels like we're nearing the end of the Indian thing too, because like people like anybody who's interacted with them knows how scum they are, and just um, oh, don't really want to like see them again. So yeah, I can see people like moving away from neighborhoods just to get away from them. Honestly, uh, AI will be strong enough soon to make The Last of Us 3. Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting if like Neil Druckmann makes it like in his basement with AI. Like, like imagine that. Like I don't. I've noticed this when I use AI, and I think this is something that like anybody who works with it will feel. Like it feels like you didn't really make it. Is kind of my opinion on it. Like as an actual creator, like I don't like using it even for like image generation because it's just like you get this sense that like a real artist would be able to do way better, and like you'd be able to work with him to like kind of bring out like your ideas and like conceptualize things. Like AI just whips out something really quick, and it's not what you want, it's not what you had in mind, and you can't really like specify. It just feels very artificial and fake, and it's not why I became a creator. So like I do intend on moving away from using AI. I've already confirmed the cattle have fangs will be using an actual artist, so for the book design. So I am not super fired up about like using AI myself. And I think it's only a matter of time until people start like kind of putting together the problems of this. Capcom is done. Yeah. Yeah, someone unfortunate today was saying that they're the most woke company in Japan right now, and I mean, I don't disagree, but it's kind of frustrating like why people are spurging out about it, because the narrative is that like Grace isn't hot, and I'm just kind of like looking at her, and I'm just like, no, I'd fuck her. Like, what are you talking about? Like, whoa, she's flat chested. Like, have you seen my GF? Like, I like that. Like, shit. Like, fucking bullshit, man. Like, whoa, no, they censored her, bro. Like, bro, like none of these Resident Evil protagonists were ever really that sexualized. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't think they ever got more sexualized than Ashley. And like, even then, she would like cover herself up if you like try to look up her skirt, right? Yeah, Ashley is not that sexualized of a character. So like it's weird that people are like doing this thing where they're like, oh yeah, Resident Evil used to be for the Gooners, but now the wokies have taken it from us, fucking women, and it's just like, what are you talking about? Leon has always been a popular character with women. I don't understand this mindset that like this is a new thing. Like I remember that Nintendo Power article from that like they hired some like visual designer or artist or like beautician, I don't know what the fuck she was. They had some like chick in the area like come in and were like, yeah, design some knees for us. And so she decided like, yeah, I'm gonna turn I'm gonna make a Leon S. Kennedy meme me. And then she just goes like, yeah, he could rescue me from zombies anytime. And I'm just like, bro, women have always loved Leon. What are you talking about? It's such a weird cope. Like Resident Evil's pretty popular with women in general. So like the idea that it's like it's only for men, I think has never actually been true. And like yeah, like I find myself so frustrated with this because like this is not a stereotype I thought was actually real like growing up, but like there are people who have problems with the idea of like girl gamers. It's just like, what are you talking about, bro? Of course, girls play games. Like, what are you fucking talking about? I don't get it. Like, I've never understood this like mindset that like girls don't play games. You're all just pretending for attention. It's like, what are you talking about? There are people like that, but like traditionally, and like I think you see this in my channel a lot. Like, it's other dudes. Like, anybody can be a poser. It doesn't have anything to do with her being a girl. That guy who criticized Crossworlds. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, pretty base take, I had to say. I mean, it's interesting to see like Crossworlds fans admitting that the game hasn't done well, but like I don't know, like a lot of people are still delusional about this. Like, yo, it's way better than Mario Kart World, bro. Sonic's killing it right now, bro. And it's just like, come on. Like, I fully intend to never buy another Sonic game again. I think I'm gonna be like just checking them out at the library from now on. Hugh Morris, I have no idea. Yeah, there's always been like a pretty heavy like female player base. It's just that like guys liked it more. Uh yeah, I don't know. I would never say that like girls don't like games at all. That's just ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it is true that like boys take it more seriously, but like I don't know. I think that's true for like pretty much everything. Yeah, there are plenty of girl gamers out there. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't speak enough about out enough about this because I do have a problem with feminists. I've been defending Devin Pritchard in spite of being a bigger misogynist than I think anybody else on the platform. But it's like, yeah, yeah, we should acknowledge that girl gamers exist and that like, yeah, obviously, like video game companies are gonna want to make games for them. It's not unreasonable. Like the issue is when like you do the Kathleen Kennedy thing and like push like propaganda using that as a crutch. Like, bro, and like it does need to be said that like it is just propaganda. Like that's not actually why they're making these decisions. Like because like Star Wars was always very popular with girls as well, but like um the idea that like the idea that like Star Wars was changed specifically to appeal to feminist audiences is a lie. You know, it was changed to push like the woke agenda specifically. So that does include like female empowerment, but that's not like it's not like the core reasoning for it. And like I do think people need to like kind of take that into consideration when talking about this. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be watching a ton of Tim Burton movies over the next couple of weeks. I'm so stoked. I loved Nightmare Before Christmas. So he didn't actually work on that though, did he? Wasn't it like based on like a poem he wrote or something? I've heard people say that he didn't actually do anything on it. Fatal Frame is probably the one gaming franchise that has more fan girls than fan boys. I wouldn't say it's the only one, but yeah, women tend to love horror games in general. Yeah, I think Atelier, horror franchise, yeah, Atelier has more female players, or at least it did traditionally. Like they exist. It's just like people don't really talk about them much, right? Like Atelier didn't become like popular until like Rise's thighs became a thing. So yeah, I'm curious how well Fatal Frame is going to do. That's a game that nobody's talking about right now because it's coming out in like March, like the week after Pokepia, I think. So that game is going to do like it's going to be really interesting to see if it like pulls any numbers. I don't think it will, but it's interesting that it's coming out. Yeah, I don't know anything about two, but like Pokemon is popular. Yep, yep. Have you watched Batman '89? That's not the. Oh yeah, the. Yeah. That's actually one of my. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, that's my favorite Batman movie for sure. Like, I don't know. I'd probably be a big Tim Burton fan, but like I didn't actually watch anything of his growing up. Um, like a while back, like years and years ago, I saw this like spreadsheet of all the female leads in his movies, and I'm just kind of like looking at it, and I'm just like, I'm pretty sure I wanted to bang all these chicks at one point. So yeah, I think he has like impeccable taste. Like I don't know, I think I watched like a handful of his movies a couple of times. Like I think I saw Beetlejuice when I was a kid and thought the daughter was hot. That was a long time ago though. I don't remember like what that movie's about. I wasn't into it as I recall. Like it's one of those things where like I was forced to watch it and I just didn't really feel into it. I don't know. Uh that was Winona Ryder, wasn't it? Yeah, hot as fuck, I think. Again, I haven't seen it in years, so I might be misremembering. But yeah, I remember seeing like Alice in Wonderland, and it was just like, this movie fucking sucks. It's terrible. It's not Alice, but holy fucking shit is Alice hot in this. Like I was just like baffled by it. Like why the fuck, where the fuck did they find this chick? Is what I want to know. Like I hated the whole premise. Like she comes back as an adult. Like what are you talking about? Like I don't understand why they can't come up with like a more interesting concept. Yeah, and for some reason they made the Mad Hatter like relevant because he was played by Johnny Depp. It's like, come the fuck on. I don't know. I barely remember anything about that movie either. But yeah, do I have Beetlejuice on hold? I don't remember if I went out and if I put it on hold yet, but I'm gonna pick it up soon and watch it. Uh, yeah, I did put Edward Scissorhands on hold, and I think I'm gonna watch Big Fish. So I've seen Edward Scissorhands. I don't remember anything about it. And then Big Fish, I know nothing about. Like a lot of movies that I saw, like it was like during like daytime TV. So like I don't know, like the censored like fucking like garbage version of the films that nobody wants to fucking watch. I remember I watched Kill Bill on that, like for at one point, and it was like fucking garbage. It's like never watch fucking censored public broadcast. Like anyway, uh, like I remember seeing like a lot of fucking movies like in the 2000s, and then like just kind of like changing the channel or not watching them. So it's like Edward Scissorhands, I think was one of those where like I watched it and like I just don't. I don't know. I don't think I process. Like you can't process movies because of like the fucking commercial breaks too. So it's like, why the fuck you would watch movies like this? I don't get it. Like fuck TV. I just don't. I don't get it. Like I am never going back in the streaming era. Like fuck you. Like you make me watch ads. Like fuck you. Pulp Fiction and they censor the shit. Yeah, you can watch a Roger Ebert clip like where he's reviewing the movie like, and it's like they censor the word uh they censor like the swear word, but keep like the N word like completely intact. So it's like it's kind of crazy how much like culture has changed over the past couple of years. I think it's probably gonna go back soon. I think people don't really they don't really respect the N bomb the way they used to. Movies on TV with commercials are unwatchable. Yeah, they are. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Tarantino movies in general. I've seen enough of them now where I'm just like, yeah, Tarantino kind of fucking sucks, and I don't want to hear from him ever. So I'm kind of like curious, like what filmmakers I will grow attached to and like, because I was kind of thinking about this. Is that like I really don't have favorite movies. Like I have movies that I like, but I never like cared about the directors or anything. So I don't know. I don't know what my favorite genre is. Uh, yeah. So I got like Suspiria from the library, and I tried to watch it, and like it's just like I don't know, man. I love the way Technicolor films look with like the bright colors and all that, but like I don't know, man. You just can't take it seriously, really. Like it's a horror movie, but like everything's like brightly lit. I just like I don't know. I don't know. I just did not feel invested at all in like what was happening. Like I don't know. I can't take horror seriously at all. It's just like I like Evil Dead, but that's probably about it. Underground, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, so like I didn't like really anything I've seen. I watched Revenge of the Sith, didn't really like it. Watched Asperia, didn't like it. What was that other thing I watched? Fuck. I've been watching so much bullshit I can't even keep it straight. There's something else. Yeah, War of the Worlds. Yeah, I put that on, but I didn't actually watch it. Offered it. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I just don't like movies in general. I think like I don't respect actors. Like I just don't. I look at people acting and I'm just like, get a real job. Like do something. Yeah, the new Dumbledore came out and he's like, I, 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 I dislike Rowling's transphobic views, and he's like some 80-year old, and you get the impression he's just reading off a script that they told him. It's like, man, like how much control does Rowling have over these adaptations? Because like he claimed that she doesn't have any control at all. So that means they're probably going to do all sorts of really ridiculous things with the material. Like Black Snape, chief among them, right? Like Black Snape by itself, like really should kill this series. Like I don't want to fucking talk about it. I don't want to hear it. Like enough with the fucking race swaps. It's over. Um, yeah, they race swapped like Helena Troy too, where they tried to make her out to be black, which is retarded. Like, hopefully, this puts an end to the myth that like Christopher Nolan is the last good director in Hollywood, because like that was a thing in the 2010s. Like, oh yeah, Nolan isn't woke. He made The Dark Knight. Like, bro, The Dark Knight is extremely woke. Like, bro, they literally stomp on like everyone's civil liberties to catch one guy. Like, it's like the most woke fucking thing, and like people just ate it up. Like I don't know, like I hate The Dark Knight. Like it was so confusing to me, like seeing people like reference it and think it was based, and like it's just really dumb. Yeah, protests these days are all boomers. Like it's kind of pathetic. Like the last protest I saw was like four boomers in front of a bar, like protesting. What were they protesting? Yeah, what were they protesting? Yeah, probably Trump or something. This was around the election season. So they were like trying to protest Trump, and like they're in front of a college bar, and like everybody's just partying and having fun and just ignoring them. It's just like, yeah, like they don't fucking care. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think we're getting to the point where like protesting isn't like as trendy as it used to be. Because like these days, you like, I don't know. There was a bigger crowd. IU won some like major sporting event, and like they showed like the streets of Kirkwood, and they were just packed. They were just fucking like it was just like people everywhere, and everyone was partying because like I don't know they won a football game. It's like come the fuck out. I mean that's what they're doing in college, right? It's just like I didn't go by the way. I don't give a fuck about football, but like um The Dark Knight was pro surveillance. Like, yes, that's exactly what I was trying to do. So, like, basically, it was like trying to make the argument that like people like the Joker exist and that we need to have a surveillance state to stop them. And it's just like, no, we fucking don't. Like, go fuck yourself. And like that should be the response to it. But like, it's interesting how like I think they still don't have like that kind of surveillance over the public as it's depicted in the movie. So like they were trying to normalize it, and it just feels like it didn't really work. Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons I want to watch a lot of classic films. Is kind of talk more about ooh, I could get American Beauty from the library. I can watch that fucking movie without having to pay for it. Holy fucking shit, is it time? Am I actually finally gonna watch American Beauty? Are we gonna have like the American Beauty stream? Am I finally gonna like, expose myself to like peak degeneracy? Mario Kart World is better. Yeah, Crossworld is actually waiting for me at the library right now. So I just gotta like get through my current games. Man, I haven't played anything today. I think I'll have to like shit, yeah, we don't have time. Yeah, so I got some new games there. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get up tomorrow, start streaming after my morning thing, and then take them back afterward. We'll see. Because I actually have a couple of games that I want to play, or that I have, I should say, I want to play. But yeah, it's late. I have to call it quits. I have to. Yeah, so we didn't beat a single like stage in this tonight. Wow, a 3 hour fucking stream of me like trying and failing to do this. Like wow, I yeah, 25 hours or more. Yeah, it's gonna take like I think a good 40 hours to do everything in the challenge mode in this. Like the challenge mode is fucking insane if you've never done it, but like yeah, I want to say I put like 100 hours into my first playthrough of this. Like, it's a really good game. But yeah, uh, I don't know. I really wish I had time to like to play my library games, but it's gonna have to wait until tomorrow morning. Gotta get to bed. Gonna eat.